Cool. We should be live any second now. I'm just watching the previews on both streams.
This is typically when Scotty walks away.
Yeah,
I'm shocked he's actually still stood there.
We're live. Be right back. No, I'm not going anywhere. We're live. Hi guys. Hello.
Back again with another video.
I am really, really excited for this, which we was just talking about between the three of us just before we went live, because I genuinely, it's a question that I think gets asked a lot, or I certainly hear it a lot, and that's like, oh, I'm a mage. What faction should I focus on first? Or, oh, I'm a priest. Like, you know, like, what's the best way to get pre-raid BIS? What professions do I need? Like, all that sort of thing. So, this episode of the podcast is going to answer that, hopefully, for everybody. You know, as in, by the end of it, you should be fairly confident in whatever role you're going to fill, what the optimal way will be of being pre-raid BIS. And it may require changing professions. It may require, you know, maybe doing something that you weren't expecting to do. I don't know what that would be. Probably archaeology is one that springs to mind. But weird intro. Just wanted to get into it. Give them the information straight away. What we're going to be talking about. So go, Jay. Jay. Don't worry about Go. Go's always here.
Hello.
Jay. Nice to have you here again. Returning.
Yeah, it's fun to be here. I mean, you guys need to start doing like EU friendly times, but fun to be here.
It's difficult. That's difficult when he's
Tuesday
not from EU.
Saturdays. Yeah,
Oh, no.
Tuesday, Saturday we could. Yeah, we could move the Saturday one up earlier if we really wanted. Sometimes, at least once a month. Yeah.
I'm easy, but yeah, we could do more EU friendly times. But when we're getting Jay on, I think when we're getting like NA guys on, it's kind of neither in or there. But
I don't know if you're bothered about it, but Kick's not going. I see YouTube is.
Kick's not going.
It still says offline.
No, I'm not too bothered. I will. Let me just say, Kick stream. They'll all have to just come to YouTube. Like whatever, it is what it is. I don't know why it's not gone on, but yeah, it can just be YouTube only tonight. It's not a problem. Well, you lead us in with the intro then, because there'll be people in Kick chat sat there waiting for it to start.
Yeah, no problem. We've got a little bit of Cataclysm news that happened within a few hours of us going live now, of an update to the beta. There's been some things that I got to hop on and check out, like transmogs are working now, reforging is working. I think Random Dungeon Finder might be working as well. So there's finally some stuff that's been tweaked. It's been 10 days since they opened up maybe 11 days at this point, since they opened up 80 to 85. And there's still been no update like Blue Post since then. None today that I've seen yet of what changed with this latest update. But Scotty was streaming for a little bit and probably saw a couple other things that changed with today's update. And then we've also got the Twilight's Hammer Regalia transmog set, which I guess it was what you would get if you pre-ordered the boost and all that stuff, like back in BlizzCon. Is that right?
Oh no, even now, yeah, you can do it now. Yeah, it's a transmog set that everyone's gonna get. So
it looks pretty cool. But then we're going to be talking about gearing and stuff for that first 10 days, whatever it happens to be after launch, where you level up to 85 and you're trying to get the best gear that you can to go into the tier 11 raids. So there's reputations to grind for. There's profession stuff, PvP gear possibly too, questing, loads of stuff and ways to get all this sick gear. Then we got to get enchants, gems, consumes. There's so much to talk about.
That first 10 days is like my favorite part of every expansion.
It was pretty nice in Wrath, I admit.
Yeah, and in Cata, it's just going to be amazing. Like literally, yeah, it's going to be amazing because the The heroics are good. They're going to be challenging. There's so many ways to get gear. Like that's a real big one for me. You know, like in Wrath, they're all right. You had some profession stuff that you could get, you know, and then you was limited to how many of them you could use. In Cata, like none of them are bind on pickup. You know, you don't need the profession to use the crafted gear. You've got archaeology that gets added, which some people will have a really good time with. You know, you go. I just picture you literally doing archaeology and going, "Oh, Scott, is this ring good?" And you've got the 359 ring. I'm like, "Yeah, go. That's good." And you'd be like, "Oh, well, my next solve's this staff. Is this good?" And I'll be like, "Yes, go. Yeah, that staff's really good as well." And then I'll be sat there like getting nothing. Like you could get lucky with archaeology and have a really good time with it, or you never get the item that you want. No, it literally it can be either or. But no, there's really good ways of getting gear. So before we really dive in properly, I've got a shout out that I want to do for someone, but that's going to wait for a minute because he was probably going to be watching on Kick. So just give him time to go over to YouTube. So do you want to introduce Jay? I know Jay's been here before, but for those of him who don't know him, good time to shout his YouTube channel out. And yeah.
Yeah, this is Majay, the homie, the EU brother with a little bit shorter beard than mine, but he's got a little scruff there. And he's been putting out Cata videos for at least the last like year, if not longer. And tons of information on there. I've been watching a few recently. He just had me on for a little 10-minute chat the other day, so definitely check that one out. And he's been putting up like questing videos consistently over the past couple weeks from the beta. So yeah, anything else you want to say about your channel there, Majay?
Well, can I just say something first? The one with Go, by the way, when I saw it pop up, there's like 3 little dots you can press and you can say, "Don't show me this again." That's the only time I've ever done that on one of Jay's videos, which is weird, really, because obviously I love Jay and everything he does, but yeah.
It was a great one, man.
I'm joking, obviously.
Outside of Orgrimmar, it was sick. Like we both made like template characters, like no nothing, and just went out there and went 1v1 head to head.
And then Go beat my ass for 10 minutes.
Dude, Treants fucking slapped. It was sick. The first duel was like 5 seconds. I popped trees and he was dead. I was like, all right, I won't use that for the second one.
But Jay's edited it really cleverly, so you get one shot in every duel.
Yeah.
No, cool. But yeah, anything you want to add about the channel, Jay? Maybe even like what are your plans in Cata? I like, you know, I know some of us know, but for everyone else,
well, I'm moving in a month and a half, and that move will, like, the reason I'm moving, or a major reason I'm moving, is for internet, so I will be able to stream, which I'm so looking forward to. So yeah, like, by the time Cata comes out, hopefully, I mean, we've got a long pre-patch, so I'm pretty confident, but by the time Cata comes out, I should be able to be streaming it, which is kind of going to be like the major goal.
Awesome.
You Shaman, Warlock? I know you dabble in both of those. Warlock? Okay.
I plan on having a Shaman. I've actually started leveling an alt on Wrath, and it's going to be a class that no one expects me to play. And that's Disc Priest.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, it's not one to go. Well, I would have guessed, and you know what? I would have been so cocksure that I got it right as well. So for anyone who don't know, I've played with Jay for a very long time, including on multiple Cata private servers, and I thought you was going to say Warrior, just because I remember how much you was like creaming over your Arms Warrior in the first phase.
It was so good. So good. Like, Warrior is one of the only classes that just gets to do ridiculously dumb stuff in heroics, like popping Sweeping Strikes, Blade Storm, and just watching the tank panic as you pull aggro on everything.
That's why I would have thought it was that and not Disc Priest, but that's good. Disc Priest is still cool though. Disc Priest is fun.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so that's Jay. That's Go. I'm me. Now I've just got a shout out that I've absolutely not prepared. All right, I just want to. I just feel so strongly about this guy. I just want to do a shout out, and then we'll get straight into the content. So Go. Just before we start,
thanks for the shout. Oh, I thought you were shouting me out. I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying go. It's because I'm doing it by memory. I'm doing it by memory, but I might have actually typed on this go just before we start. I want to share out one of the boys from the stream. He's an absolute legend. So this is all true, by the way. So much so that when we was outside a pub last summer, he bought me a curry whilst I was extremely hungover, just so I had a curry to dip my pizza in. And he got me a fowl as well, so it was like a ridiculously hot curry that I was dipping my pizza in. I mean, that's enough straight away, isn't it? Really, like that's worthy of a shout out straight away. I mean, but there's more. He's also a bit of a prick. Now you would think that brings it on a downer, but it doesn't, because like I see that as a good thing. So to my boy, Massive Chebs, massive by name, even fucking bigger in person. Much love, mate. Enjoy the podcast.
Chavs, what a legend.
He's a good lad.
Yeah. He probably thought I would forget and I wouldn't do it, but there you go. I did. Shouting out the wrong rogue. Oh, it's good as well.
I was there for him buying you a curry, and I didn't know you were talking about that.
Yeah, you was literally there while I was dipping my pizza outside Wetherspoons in a curry.
I was dipping your pizza in the curry as well.
Right, okay. Let's get cracking. So let's start with the state of the beta, just for 10-15 minutes. There's been like a really big update. When I say really big, it has brought some things that I weren't expecting. So I'm trying to hold the sarcasm back when I say really big, because I was expecting more. Of course, I was expecting more. Like I feel like we should be further along than we are, but we're not. The biggest thing for me is something that I'm hoping is wrong. So, like, you guys, if you're watching and not just listening, we've got the retail version of the guild panel. So where you can actually create communities outside of your guild, so you can all communicate and all of that shit. You know, it's got Guild Finder in the same tab. You can see historic chat in the guild. So, you know, if you was offline, it will show you any messages you missed and stuff, which is quite cool. You know, so you can catch up on conversations in guild chat that you would have missed. There is going to be a but, all right? Like there always will be with me, you know that. Like it's all great, but I'm really confused, and I'm hoping that it's bugged. At the moment, we get retail transmog, brah. So chill your beans. We're getting retail transmog as well, which we'll get to that. The guild perks have confused me, because what they've done is they've removed guild leveling, which is not what was advertised at BlizzCon. It was very much like guilds will be, you know, they won't feel as punished by being a smaller guild versus a big guild. I'm hoping this is wrong. Bearing in mind this is beta. This could be absolutely fucked. It might not be the real thing. You know, like we could see many iterations of this before it goes live. But it's like they've kept the sort of important guild perks in that you've just got just for being a guild. Like quicker mount speed, hasty hearth, chug-a-lug. So chug-a-lug is where you get like increased duration from cauldron flasks, and you get like mobile banking, quick in the dead, guild mail. It's like they've kept all the really relevant guild related stuff, but then there's no like cash flow, there's no XP bonus. Like there's things that are not there, but they've gave all healers mass res. But not mass res as it is in Cata, as anybody who's played Cata and remembers it. It's like the retail version of mass res. So, like, you know, paladins get a specific one, priests get a specific one, and they've got like their names. Which I don't play retail, so I couldn't really. Revitalize is the resto druids one, for example. So they have revitalize, which is mass res. Now, I'm hoping this is wrong, because this really removes a big fun part of guilds in Cata. You know, like at the moment, the only thing that's the heirlooms are gated behind is reputation. So you can get to 100 and you can buy them all. You know, there's no get into level 5, level 10, level 20. It's not a big deal, and I'm not going to cry about it too much if it goes live like this. But I feel like this is a really lazy shit way of doing it if this is actually what they're intending on doing.
Yeah, it sounds really weird. Go ahead, Jeff.
I don't like that at all. So I haven't been on since the update. I've been resting my beautiful face, and yeah, like, because that means that potentially, if we can get the rep in pre-patch, we're gonna have looms for our 80 to 85 leveling. So you're gonna replace ICC heroic 25 gear with an heirloom. Yeah, no, that's strange.
Again, I don't want us to fixate on it.
It seems intentional just because they've given healers the mass res.
That's what I'm thinking. So, like, again, I don't want to fixate on it too much because I'm hoping I'm wrong, and well, not wrong. I mean, I'm looking at it. You know, I'm on the beta. I can see exactly how it is, but I'm hoping that it's just like, this is the first iteration. They'll put all the guild leveling in and add all the perks back soon, that kind of thing. But I also wouldn't put it past Blizzard for them to look at this and see this as a solution to guilds for Cata. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not saying it is a solution. I think it's absolute shit, but I don't know.
I don't like that PvP gets screwed again. Because, like, the only reason that people were going to... Like, I've said it multiple times. Like, I was so looking forward to Phase 1 PvP, like RBGs and stuff, because every guild that's going to take it somewhat seriously, getting to 25, is going to be doing RBGs every week. Right? If you 1 win or 3 wins or whatever it is every week. And now there's just no reason to do them again.
So that's still there.
But there's no reason to do... There's no reason for the XP, right? It would just be for the money.
So it says, complete any dungeon from the current expansion whilst in a guild group, and each guild challenge completed will reward, gold deposited directly into the bank. Yeah, there's no experience. There's no going to be no pressure felt to actually get those done if they don't give XP. Yeah, absolutely, you're right. So the problem here is, and bearing in mind, this is not a Season of Discovery podcast. You know, that's what I'm renowned for complaining on. I don't complain on Cata podcast, but I am going to complain about this because I'm less complaining about the fact that how it looks. I'm more complaining about the absolute fucking dog shit, abysmal communication from Blizzard. Like, it is literally the fucking worst thing I've ever seen. Like, before they even put this live, they should have said, guys, you're going to notice the guild pane. Yes, we're going to use the retail version, but ignore the fact that there's perks missing. Ignore the fact you can't see your level. You know, let people know what like, they surely know because they looked before they put it on. So, like, my issue at the moment is more the communication than what they're doing. Because if they turn around and gave good justification for it being like this, you know, I might get on board. You know, I'm not saying I definitely would, but if they gave some good reasoning and was like, well, look, we've done it like this because of XYZ, I might go, well, yeah, I mean, that's fair enough. It might only be a 12-month expansion. It might, you know, like, whatever. I don't know whether I would agree or not, but the fact that they just put this shit out and then they stay completely silent don't really help.
The beta's been up for almost 5 weeks, and we've had one blue post since it went out, and that was just to say that the 80 to 85 was open, and there was a couple of small little tidbits in there. But yeah, there's been nothing outside of that. Like, one post in 5 weeks for a full beta. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, I mean, it's not really acceptable, and I can almost understand look, we had Season of Discovery that we had to handle first, and, you know, even that's come out with issues left, right, and center. But, like, Season of Discovery is here, like, and this update has come since then, so it's not like suddenly it's a surprise. Like, there should have been a blue post accompanying this patch today.
Yeah, and that's all I want. So, like, you know, I've been very accepting of everything that's gone on with the beta. Like, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, things are going to be bugged. Quests are not going to be completable. Cool. Classes ain't going to work properly because, you know, like, it's a beta. Like, I fully expect that. But the one thing I do actually just expect more than any of that is just a short blue post. How long does it take one of them just to type it up and say, look, you're all going to think that this looks like shit because we've removed guild leveling, but we haven't. Like, it will be patched. It will be put in on the beta in the next few days. Like, don't worry. Because we'd get that on Season of Discovery. If something went into Season of Discovery really fucked up, they would be like, don't worry, we know. Like, it'll be fixed. You know, maybe start just showing the Cata beta a little bit of attention. Because they've got a good 8 weeks now of Season of Discovery Phase 3 where they're probably not going to do a lot because they're working on this. They need to shift their attention a little bit. But anyway... Sorry,
I think we've been spoiled. We've been spoiled by the private servers where there would be a server launch, and then you'd hop in there, you'd be leveling up, something would happen. There would be an in-game like world chat notice from like a dev saying, "Hey, we see this, we know we're going to fix it." There was a whole Discord set up for it, and you could go in there and see like what was going on, what was being fixed. I want a little bit of that, a tiny little bit. If it's just a blue post, that'd be perfect, but a little bit more would be nice too. Like seeing that there's a dev in the game actually doing something in the game while we're
doesn't even need to be a blue post. Agron tweets SOD information. I would take that. Tell me what's going on. Like, we've had no information, and some classes have been completely unplayable. Some specs, I should say, have been completely unplayable. You've got quest zones that don't work, and it's like, again, what Scott said, it's a beta. That's not an issue. I have no issue with the fact that they don't work. I just have issue with the fact that they haven't talked to us. Because, I mean, what you said is right, Go. On a private server, we wouldn't accept any of this, and that's from like 3 devs in their mum's basement as opposed to Blizzard.
Yeah.
So
Mark of the Wild still doesn't work.
Is it not?
No, I can't even get extra intellect from Mark of the Wild or nothing like that.
No, that's just druids needed enough. So
yeah, Paladins is probably working because
Paladin is working. Yeah, I'm putting it out there. It is working because I looked at it specifically earlier when I was in a dungeon. But okay, let's try and not fixate on the things that are not working and the shit communication for a minute.
Keep shitting on them. No, we got to keep dumping on them. Fuck Cata.
Well, yeah, we can, and I've got no problem doing it because, you know, I feel as strongly as you do. But, you know, if we like try and read between the lines a little bit and be like, well, it looks like we're getting the retail guild pain. You know, like that we know. We don't know about why there's no levels. We don't know why perks are missing. We don't know why healers have ended up getting mash res. But you can almost guarantee we are getting the retail version of the guild pain. And my first take when I looked at it was, I don't know about this. The only reason for that is because I'm not like Jay will look at it and be like, yeah, this is good, man. This is what we want. Because you're a retail player, Jay. Whereas, like, you know, it looks foreign to me. I'm looking at it and I'm like, yeah, I mean, it looks all right, but I just need to get used to it.
So I'm in a weird group of people who played retail. Retail got to a point where it was like system on system on system, and we didn't want to bother with it. So we started playing Cata to get away from that retail systems. And all of a sudden, that's going to show up in Cata. I actually think people aren't going to like it. From that small group of people that are like trying to walk away from retail and play the better, simpler game, to suddenly then have retail stuff encroach is kind of like, yeah, I was looking forward to guild leveling. I was looking forward to, you know, if they'd have literally changed nothing else but remove cash flow, I'd have been okay with the guild system.
Yeah, and remove cash flow, and even if they added some funky system where, you know, it kind of goes by the amount of active players. So, you know, like the less, if you've got a lower amount of active players in the guild, the activities give you a bit more XP, or like things you do together in a dungeon will give you slightly more XP. If you've got loads of people, you get less XP per activity. Do you know what I mean? So like everyone's sort of leveling at the same speed. You're not penalized for being a 10-man guild. that's how I saw it going. I was like, they're going to develop something really interesting where you can be a 10-man guild, or you can be a guild that's got 20-man, 25-man raids, but you could level at the same speed as long as your active players are actually doing stuff together. Because that's all you want, isn't it? But again, we won't fixate on it too much. This is in. So at the moment on the beta, we've got the retail style guild, like sort of guild pain, but maybe not working properly.
Can I ask you one more thing? It might just be a short little answer, but would this have any effect on MOP if this continues onto MOP with a guild system that had, or was
not really
pretty much the same as Cata?
Yeah, okay. Not really. It more or less carries on. You get more guild rewards in Cata, like another mount, and it's more or less exactly the same. I think it's more or less exactly the same in WoD as well. I don't know at which point where it actually changed. Any idea, Jay?
WoD was when the guild perks were just integrated, I believe. You stopped needing the levels for a lot of the perks. But I might have just had a level 25 guild always in WoD. I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, I genuinely don't remember. I know it did change at some point, but I don't know at which point. I'm pretty sure MOP pretty much just carries on along the same lines, but just with some extra rewards.
Yeah.
Okay, so main things on the beta that have been updated was that. So it looks like we're getting the retail guild panel. They have now put transmog in as well, and we've got the proper like retail style appearance system. Again, for me, it's not something I'm used to as a non-retail player, but I'm actually going to take something positive away from this for a change. I actually quite like it. Like, I genuinely actually do. You know, the fact that it is more of like a collection, like you can go around and you're like, oh, I need to go and find this. I need to go and get this item, and then you're just filling it up. And like, I've not really, but I'm not. I don't feel strongly about transmog anyway. You know, so I looked at it and was like, yeah, that's better. Like, I might actually care about it a little bit more in this state rather than going around collecting items, put them in void storage and like all of that shit. I don't know if I could be asked with that. Are your thoughts from either of you?
I love transmog, and this system was incredibly good when it came out, and I'm a massive fan of this being added.
See, I don't remember how it was back in Cata, but just opening up the pane myself on the beta, this looks fine by me.
So in original Cata, you had to have the item in your bag, and or in void storage.
Enchant off of it too, right? Like if you put it in void storage, it wouldn't have an enchant, something weird like that.
I don't remember that, but yeah, you had to like basically have the item to be able to transmog into it. So you were always carrying around like a transmog set for just no reason.
That's right. No, that's right. What Go was saying. If you deposited something into your void storage, it would remove all gems and enchants.
Yeah. So yeah, like I'm a big fan of having the least amount of items possible, like in my bank and stuff like that. So if I can get it unlocked and then get rid of the item, then hell yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm a fan of this, and as I say, for me, I think it might actually make me go round and get some of these, knowing that it's just like, yeah, I need to go and loot it, and then cool, like it's in my collections. Like I do think this will actually, entice me to do some of it. SW, my man, sorry, yeah, we was meant to be on Kick as well, but for some reason I done something wrong. It's me, yeah, I done something wrong, and we ended up only on YouTube, and then I didn't want to go live and then take it down and then start again. You know what I mean? The other thing that's been sorry, give me a second. The other thing that they've added is random dungeon finder. So I'm going to try and say this as seriously as possible. Some of you might not know what random dungeon finder is, but you get like 1 to 5 people, and then you can queue for a random dungeon appropriate to your eye level, to what you can actually get in. So they've added that. It's not new. It's been in other versions of the game. You might have used it before. The only problem with this version is you can't get out of the dungeon.
Oh no!
What?
Yeah.
What?
Well, you can, but you need a script. So you need to actually use the script, which is like run script leave party 1. So you can get out, but you have to literally use a macro to be able to leave a random dungeon, because the little icon on the mini map don't work, and you can't right click and leave party on your own character pane. So the only way to get out at the moment is this is what amazes me. Like, they know that this works. Like, they know how this thing works. How can they put it on a beta and you can't leave a dungeon? Are you telling me before they put this update out, they didn't go, should we just check RDF? They were like, nah, it'll be fine. Works on RAF. You know what I mean? But anyway, Random Dungeon Finder's now working on the beta. They have fixed haste. Now, that's a big one. And they've actually made masteries working for any class that I've personally played on the beta in the last few hours. So mastery is actually working. Reforging's working now as well. But somehow, again, a very minor thing, what you might notice when I'm looking at my items in my character pane, it shows nothing. So, like, the character pane's bugged, but mastery is working. Haste is working, so it's not reducing the time of the dot. It's actually reducing the time between the ticks. So, like, it's slowly coming together. I predicted a big update today, and I just predicted something that was going to work a little bit better than this. There's some other bits and bobs, like which we won't bother getting into. I wanted to just do this for about 10 minutes, just talk about the beta, and then really get into the stuff that matters. Because the beta at the moment don't matter. We know it's all going to work when it goes live. It's just stuff like today's update makes me question how long it's going to be before it goes live, and just how long that off-season PvP is going to be in RAF.
No, I'm predicting a 2027 release.
That sounds pretty accurate.
I'll still be doing ICC, don't worry.
I was thinking that we're going to get that first wave of the pre-patch, like pre-patch 0.03, whatever it is, the day after the PvP season ends. I think that they'll have things ready to go for that first event, the incursion event, I think is what it was. So I think that they've probably got that sort of stuff figured out, and all these systems that aren't working right now are going to be in like the second patch. So I think they still have plenty of time after that incursion event comes out, or not incursion. I keep saying it, don't I, Scotty?
Yeah, but these are.
Invasion
I know
event,
what you're
right?
trying to say, but these are all meant to be in the first part of the pre-patch. So, like the way the classes work, the guild system, the new talents, like all of that is meant to be the first part. So like
just not Goblin and Worgen.
Just not
right?
Goblin, Worgen, and not the Shattering.
Yeah.
That's what comes later. So all of this stuff that we're expecting to work on the beta should be working. But another good point is the RAF PTR. I've not looked, obviously, since we've been doing the podcast, but the RAF PTR had an update today as well, which that was what got me hopeful. I was like, beta's down, RAF PTR's got an update. RAF PTR goes to like phase 1 pre-patch with all the classes working, everything, and then we get a big update on beta that where we get the systems and they all work. And then I logged on the beta and was like, nah, maybe the RAF pre-patch ain't, the RAF Cata pre-patch ain't quite ready yet.
Yeah, because the arena season ends in a week from today.
Literally next week.
So,
I think it's a big week for Cata. I genuinely do believe this week's going to be a big week for Cata. I think we're going to get a lot of updates on the beta. I think the RAF PTR, like the RAF Lich King PTR, will go up with a pre-patch on. I do think like the next 7 days are going to be like Cata constantly. I could be wrong, but I mean, they need to get their finger out, don't they?
I'll say it. I'll look like an absolute fool when it's a month after 8 days from now on the 16th, but I got to put it out there just in case for that long shot I hit it dead on balls accurate and just look like a legend, and this is my one chance.
Blizzard have been very predictive with always being a week after the arena season ends, so that's still going to be where my guess is, but right now if they turn around and said like it's just not ready, we're going to delay it a week or two, I would be so okay with that, but just to hear something.
Yeah.
The only reason The only reason I say like the day after is because that's how they did it with TBC going into Wrath. Like the last TBC arena season ended, and then the next day it was the Wrath pre-patch. And I know they change shit up like that all the time, but I was just trying to go off the historical record that they had from the last expansion to expansion. And I was watching some random dude on YouTube, and they said the same thing. So
yeah, I mean,
maybe...
we know how it worked historically, but I just don't.
Yeah.
They never had Season of Discovery on their plate at the same time. Then that's the thing.
Right.
That's my opinion. You know. So just to address Alexander in chat, like Legend, what's going on, man? You know, like Season of Discovery is still waiting for things to be fixed. So you got the Season of Discovery guys waiting for things to actually
this
work.
Was a clean phase launch. What are you talking? They don't need to fix anything. Everything's great on SOD.
Okay, so let's pretend it is. But you know what I'm saying. You've got that half of the player base that want that to work properly. Yeah. You got us who want the Cata to work properly and the beta to be working, and you know the pre-patch to be on its way. And it's like I feel their attention's just split too much. Where at the moment they're pissing more people off than they're pleasing in most places.
And they've been pissing off the era and hardcore folks, I would imagine, because this phase compared to the other phases of SOD has dipped into affecting like era realms and SOD realms. So that might have been something that they weren't expecting to have to sit there and spend dev time on that now they have to do. So yeah, maybe a little bit later on the pre-patch.
How has that affected era? I didn't even know about that. I don't pay any attention to era, so but what's the effect been there?
There was like dungeon loot that wasn't dropping. I think that was an era. I can't remember. Like the ZG buff, I don't think was working on era servers because they made the new Sunken Temple raid drop in Yojamba and Booty Bay, so I think that might have fucked up the era Hakar head like turn in.
Oh, okay.
Just little things like that I think have been funky on both realms.
Yeah, so everyone's feeling it, literally. Yeah, like across the board.
Yeah, that was probably SOD for the dungeon stuff, but there was something I could look it up, but
yeah,
there's been things.
I mean, I've said it for a little while, but it just seems like they're being pulled left, right, and center, trying to manage 7 different plates and not actually handling it very well.
Yeah, no.
I don't like. It's not blaming the devs by any means. Like they're obviously just given a task and told to get on with it. But the fact that they're in this situation, every single game version is suffering for it.
Yeah, the Mara isn't dropping loot. Some bosses like ZF, BRD, like just random times. Like sometimes you'll get loot, sometimes you won't, and it's just hopefully that gets resolved tomorrow after reset. I can't find any of the. There's been so many posts for SOD that I can't find like what exactly it was.
Saying all that, Go, they did move the unkillable BRD bosses into the Grim Guzzler. So, can you really moan about anything when they've done, gone to the effort of doing that?
Well, that's a challenge. Like I would have tried to go all the way to the end and do the princess quest for my best in slot ring, and now it's a different ring because I can't go down there with a 5-man group and try to kill a level 59 elite with 5 players. That would be a fucking hard ass thing to do.
It would have, but let's appreciate effort where it's put. But anyway, like fuck SOD, I don't care. Yeah. We're not talking about SOD. Was there anything else? Mainly because I don't want to. They've added the dungeon journal as well in Cata at the moment. It doesn't work, but it is there. It's just
give me some good information. Give me some good news about Cata.
I know. I'm just giving the information. It's there, so we know that it's there. Like you can look at it and it looks good. It just doesn't work. So. It doesn't show items on some bosses. Like, yeah, it could be better, but it's there, so you can like read the text and what the bosses do and stuff. Like, it's still good. It's been put in the game, but just not properly. Was there anything else? I mentioned haste, didn't I? Like, that's all working. I'm
Yeah.
just thinking if there's anything else. I mean, that's about it. To be fair, I've been in as soon as the beta got its update. I went in and tried Heroic Blackrock Caverns. I kind of understand the level 85 content not being fixed yet because that's not their focus. So I won't complain about that. But it feels to me like they're adding more and more to the beta, but it's more and more stuff that don't work. You know, rather than addressing the things that have already probably had 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 reports and fixing those as you go along at the same time. You know, so I was expecting a big, like, deploying a really big build today where, yes, it introduced the guild pane, it introduced all these other things, which I'd accept not working, but then at the same time, it would have fixed all the shit that we already know is broke. You know, so, like, for example... Go on, mate.
I was just going to say, do we know if we're getting pre-nerf heroics?
No. We hardly know anything. I mean, I guess
we can test that.
Yeah, they haven't said nothing other than BlizzCon.
Yeah, I guess they're not going to be pre-nerf.
That'd be interesting.
Well, obviously, I've done loads of heroics, and they're all over the place. You know, like, some bosses have got mechanics that just don't do anything at all, and then other bosses have got mechanics that they kind of work, but give you no warning that they're going off. Like, it's funky, but that's level 85 stuff. That, like, I don't care whether that works or not. Like, I'm more about the stuff that's going to be in the pre-patch. That's the stuff that we need to know that is actually working so the pre-patch can get underway. Then they've got a good 4 or 5 weeks to worry about all the other shit. You know, they take some pressure off themselves.
Scott, have you looked at professions? Have they changed that to where you would get like 5 skill up points depending on what item was crafted? That would come in the pre-patch, I would imagine, right?
No, they haven't. No. So yeah, it's still only giving 1.
That would be pre-patch though, wouldn't it?
Would that be
like the first wave of the pre-patch, or would that be like with the shattering?
Yeah, no, but it's only certain professions that really benefit from it in the, you know, up until Wrath. So, like, Inscription, for example, you get like 3 points per glyph you craft and stuff like that. But most other professions are really only getting 1 point a craft anyway until Cata. But they haven't fixed it because, like, my high power bolt gun for engineering should give 5 points and it don't. So either way, it's not working. But yeah, it's not like tailoring gets multiple points all the way through. They don't. Inscription's the biggest one. When you're leveling low level inscription and every glyph's giving like 3. The rest of them, you've got some. You know, you craft the odd blue that gives you 3 or 5 points, but yeah, it doesn't appear to be fixed anyway. But that's enough of the beta. Like, let's actually get onto what we're meant to be talking about. Unless anyone wanted to have a quick look at the where is it? Was it this? Yeah, the Twilight Hammers Regalia. So you get this if you buy, is it the Blazing Heroic pack? Enhance your journey with the new mount, new pet, and more. Enhance your journey with level 18 of time. Man, it's one of those. Well, I don't know which one you actually get it in. Oh, Blazing Heroic pack. Avatar of Flame, Flying Mount, WoW Classic Profession character, and a Rune-bound Flying Lord. Oh yeah, and then you get the Hammer Regalia Transmog set. So it's the 30 quid. You must get that in. Oh, and you get it in both. Yeah, so you get it in both. But that's what it looks like if you're watching live. It's just the purple set looks alright.
It looks a lot cooler than the mount and the pet for me. Like, if I had to choose which one I could get, I'd definitely choose that transmog set.
There's a Boomy that's in chicken form all the time.
When I'm in a major city, I'm not always stood in boomkin form. So yeah, I still transmog as a balanced player.
I still don't know what Go's actual character looks like.
I don't have any gear on. That's why my damage is so shit.
It looks very basic for me. It's not. Yeah, I mean, I probably will rarely ever transmog my gear anyway. That's just me. Like, it's not something that actually really excites me too much. I'll just whatever my character looks like.
You could find a purple helm and like a big ass glowy purple staff too, make it shine a little bit more. You know. So
you want a big purple helmet, is what you're saying?
Yeah. Get a big purple knob on the end of that dome right there. You know.
All right, cool. Let's get into the real thing. Lead us in, go. I'm going to get some ice.
I don't know where we're starting. I know we're.
Well, where does Jay want to start? We're talking about gearing, so we want to think. Yeah, so we want to think about it from level 80. You know, rather than like we've got to 85 and now we're trying to get pre-raid BIS. You know, like from level 80, how we can incorporate the gearing into the journey. Do you know what I mean? Rather than it just being like, I've dinged, oh shit, I need to get ready for raid.
Yeah, so there's like basically going to be, I would say, 3 phases of gearing. You've got that kind of, like the first part is getting to being able to queue heroics, because, and we talked about this slightly before the podcast, but like, you know, not every person is going to have a guild full of people or a group of people that can walk into heroics early, and even walking into heroics early is going to be difficult because, you know, you're going to get slapped around if you're not in appropriate level gear. Obviously, that only lasts for a day or two, but still something. So you've got that like first set of being able to queue into heroics, and then once you're in heroics, it's, you know, finishing off your reputations, getting to full 346 and your reputation epics, your crafted epics, and then it's, you know, getting into the raid and picking up the early raid stuff as well.
I think we might have to put a pause there just for 1 second, because what we was complaining about, we do now have.
I'm just looking at it now. It's not, trust me, you're going to be very underwhelmed.
So today we're... go on, you can read it. You read it. It's on screen. Now I can make my drink.
I did. Yeah. I did one of those, was it Freudian slip? Like when I was reading the first part. At this time, the following issues have been added. That's how I read it. But it says the following features have been added: reforging, transmogrification, dungeon journal, random dungeon finder. The following features are still in progress or are unavailable for now: Tolbarad, level 80 to 85 battlegrounds, raids, guild system updates. This system is accessible in game, but is a work in progress and has many potential bugs.
Do you reckon they're watching? Are one of you boys watching from Blizzard? Because
I was about to say.
I mean, who posted it?
Who typed this? Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's probably Kyvax. He's been. Yeah, Kyvax did.
I feel like you're watching, because that's too weird. I'm telling you.
Oh, what else is there? We've made the following bug fixes since the last build. Thank you for all your reports. The cinematic plays properly for Eye of the Storm and no longer causes players to freeze. Class and combat block works properly. Wasn't there like 0 block or something?
It was blocking for 1 damage. Yeah, it was blocking for 1 damage.
Yeah. So yeah, tanks won't get globaled now, hopefully. Haste works properly for hots and dots. Players can no longer level up weapon skills. I hope it's defense too, because like I would just get crit by mobs because defense was below level. Resistances are calculating properly. Death Knight raise ghoul now raises a ghoul. Druid Euphoria and Rejuve are working properly now. Hell yeah. Druid Mangle is no longer unlearned.
Did you mean Mange?
Mange. Well, he was typing it up while he was listening, so
Druid's Mange is not what.
Mange. There was a typo like that in the last one too, and it was about Druid. Like I don't know what it is. Warlock Blood Pact gives stamina. We're currently tracking the following known issues. Heirlooms are missing stats. You receive a Lua error the first time you open the trade skill window. Quest B Raptor is not completable. Class and combat, we've got Death Knight Rune Tap does not activate a rune immediately. Druid Star Surge is unlearned when changing specializations. I just never changed balance, so I didn't know that was a bug. Hunter, Steady Shot, and Cobra Shot have incorrect cast times. Priest, Prayer of Mending does not work. Warrior, Intercept only causes 1 damage.
I mean, there's so much more than that, though. Like, how is that?
Loads more.
How is that all they're aware of? I mean, are they not getting my reports? Like, I've literally reported so many fucking bugs, and that's all they know about.
The conspiracy theory here is, you know, they've literally listened to us bitch and moan for 5 minutes and gone, put some out, anything, just something. Later on, they're going to add all of the rest, and it's just going to be 7 pages long. But right now, they can say we've posted some communication.
I mean, I like shorter things like this. If it was like a blue post like this, it's digestible. I can read everything and not lose focus. But if it's just like 5 fucking pages long of just note after note, then it's like, am I going to read through all that? Probably not.
I get that, but that doesn't mean they can't acknowledge the other bugs.
Because no, not everybody. Like, you only want to, if you only want to know the highlights, then just read the highlights. You don't need to, like you wouldn't need, if there was a list of Death Knight bugs, you don't play a Death Knight. You wouldn't read them. Like, you don't give a shit what's wrong with the Death Knights. But I'd like to see Mage on there, and the fact that combustion doesn't work, the fact that Fire Blast doesn't spread dots. There's no mention of Mage. It makes it sound like Mage is working fine. It's not.
Read
Tyvax, go and edit this fucking blue post.
Just say, hey, I just read your blue post, and you didn't mention that you are aware of this bug for mages. So here's this report again.
give it like another 6 minutes. There's just going to be an edit that adds Mage is also broken.
Yeah.
But if you just to again, I don't want to spend too much time on this. We have got something that we do want to cover that is important for everyone to know. So I appreciate we are talking a lot of shit about something that's kind of irrelevant because it's only the beta. But at this time, the following features have been added. Reforging doesn't work properly because you can't see the stats on your gear. Okay, that's the first one. Transmog, can't comment. I've not used it, so I don't know. Dungeon Journal doesn't work because the bosses don't show that they drop any loot. Random Dungeon Finder, you can queue, but you can't get out. So it's like they've added 3 out of the 4 things. I have got first-hand experience of not working already, and it's only been live for an hour. And the following features are still in progress. Toll Barad, level 80 to 85 battlegrounds, raids, guild systems. Where's dungeons on there? Because none of the dungeons are working either. So like, why are they worrying about raids still being in progress when they haven't even got dungeons that are working properly? But anyway, at least they put a blue post out. Cheers, Kyvax. Carry on listening, and we'll tell you some other things that don't work.
So for the Jay was saying there's a couple steps in order to gearing steps, and he was going over the first one while you're stepped away there, Scotty, and before we got into this blue post. And one thing I wanted to add to the first point was currently it says 329 eye level to be able to queue randomly for the heroics, but you can walk in with your group. You don't have to queue up for the random heroic. But yeah, 329 eye level is what I'm seeing.
Yes, and that is quite high, to say that. So for anyone who doesn't watch me stream, we've already done every heroic dungeon that we can get in multiple times. We've done heroic dead mines multiple times, Halls of Origination, Tolvir, literally all of them. And I specifically say the ones that we can get in because Grim Batol, even now, even though it's not mentioned as a bug on that really important blue post, you still can't get in Grim Batol. Which is a leveling dungeon, 84 to 85. You go do Grim Batol normal. Yeah, you physically can't get in. So we've done a lot. We've done a lot of heroics. I'm fully heroic geared. There's not a single slot that I can replace now. I've got everything. So have multiple of the guys. Yet Jay, not this Jay, fake Jay, he's been healing them all, and he hasn't got 329 eye level. He can't queue. On his priest, he's healed every single heroic, and he's been taking the gear that drops that's useful for him. Obviously, he's done his reputations and everything, and he still cannot queue for heroics. I think 329's a little bit on the high side.
I'm gonna disagree. I think.
Go on.
I think for everyone's happiness and safety, 329 is probably appropriate. In that, I think if people were going in with less, like you guys are going in with less and walking in, but you're an organized 5-man group, you're not half bad players. I think if you're going to queue in with 5 pugs, I would kind of want people to be a little bit higher eye level than they need to be.
Yeah, that's fair, actually. Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, I don't disagree at all. Yeah, that's fair. Because at the end of the day, like what we done, we grouped up tonight to go and do a heroic when RDF launched and was like, what the fuck, Jay? How can you still not queue? And then we just went and done a walk-in instead. So we're losing out on justice points. But still, like 329, you know, you've got like 333 gear comes from like the end quest chains of places like Twilight Highlands. Even Oldham has got a couple of 333 gear pieces, and I think even Deepholm has, to be fair. I think the final quest of Ferrazane that sends you in, oh no, that might be 316. But it's still it's quite tough getting to 329.
The two parts of the shard in Therazane are 316, and the end quest of Therazane is 333.
Yeah, that sounds about right. But it's still quite tough, you know, when you ding 85 on day one. I think you should pretty much rule RDF out. You know, like it's just not going to happen. Yeah, you're going to be doing walk-ins, which kind of that's fine.
So you just miss out on those justice points? Like, would that set you back at all, or?
I don't think that's necessarily true either. I think I want to test it before I make too many bold statements, but I think 329 day one is very achievable.
If you're being funneled, like let's say you're a cloth wearer and you're being funneled everyone's Ember Silk cloth and you're crafting the vicious gear, absolutely.
I'm not even on about that. One Tol Barad is going to give you enough to buy like 3 pieces of gear. If you're okay using PvP gear in that environment, I think a couple of reputation rewards, a couple of end of zone quests, a couple of dungeon like pieces along the way, and then PvP gear to kind of fill. I don't know. I reckon you could hit 329 pretty easily.
Why did you say Tol Barad gives you like 3 pieces of gear though?
Because so you get like the weekly quest for Tol Barad gives you a load of honor as well. So your first victory in Tol Barad is going to give you a ton of honor.
Yeah, because the only reason I ask is I was looking at this earlier and it was like 740 for a first win with dailies that I was looking at on a 4K cap where items are like 2K each. Because I was looking at it like this is really underwhelming.
Well, we had 1.5 on certain private servers that we won't talk about because Blizzard's definitely listened to us. And we were getting like 3.5, 4K for a Tol Barad win for the first one of the week. So I'm expecting that we're going to be able to buy at least a piece, if not like close to 2 pieces off one Tol Barad win.
Yeah, per week though.
No, like the first one, you're going to get loads, and then after that, every win or every whatever is going to be, you know, maybe 1,000, maybe probably about 1,000.
Yeah, the weekly PvP win gives 200. Victory in Tol Barad literally gives 200 honor.
There was a bunch of quests though, right? Not just like the win.
You get quests, but that's more for rep. Yeah, there's quests. They may give small amounts of honor as well. But like I do think that's more being spoiled on a private server with Tol Barad, because I can send you a link like in chat. I'm literally looking at it now, and it's victory in Tol Barad is 200 honor and 3 commendations. Because I'd be fine using PvP.
You can trade the commendations, or is that later?
Possibly later, I would have thought. I'd use PvP gear. I was using PvP gear on my mage, you know, as in I crafted the PvP gear as tailoring. Not that I was trying to get item level because we was walking in, but it's, you know, obviously you're only getting a single stat because one of the stats is being taken up by resilience, so you ideally don't want to use PvP gear. But on the basis that your primary stat is king, so as a caster you want intellect, strength user you want strength, like almost, and with reforging there's sort of no. You
also got to remember that we can cap honor before in pre-patch, right?
Yeah, you can cap honor and justice, yeah.
So you're going to hit max level and have 4K honor to use as well. So that's 2 352 pieces. I think it's doable. I'm not saying that everyone will be able to get there, but I think with a little bit of tomfoolery, you'll be able to hit 329 if that's what you were aiming to do, I think it's doable.
Yeah, I mean, Blue Outrider in chat has said at 84 and sitting at 321. Which, well, yeah, so it's only another 8 to go. I just find it really, really weird that our healer, who's healed every single heroic since the day 80-85 opened, is still not 329.
Has he got a piece of
310 right now? And I did all the quests. That's all I did was just from questing up to Twilight Highlands. I didn't do COC or nothing like that. But
And you're what, 310?
310. I'm pretty low, I think.
Yeah, so I'm not sure our Blue Outrider is 321 at 84. When you've done every single quest.
But the end quest in Deepholm is bugged. The end quest in Oldham I couldn't get to. I think you can now if you zone out. There's this way to bypass the bugged quest that the mobs don't spawn for crisis management. So I might be able to go back there and redo that. And I didn't do too much in Twilight Highlands. I got maybe halfway through it.
I think.
Okay,
it doesn't matter too much. Oh yeah, go on, Jay. Go on, and then I'll say what I'm going to say.
I guess I'll say it this way. I think for the people who are going to want to hit 85 night one, and 80 to 85 and straight into heroics, they're going to be able to get, into heroics through RDF. I genuinely believe that. For the people who aren't trying to hit it night one, I think by the time you're ready to queue heroics, you'll be able to.
Yeah, I think so. So I think for the what I am aiming for in this podcast is really not people to be worrying about getting queued in random dungeon finder. You've most likely got a guild group. You've most likely got whatever. But I honestly think, and I'll stand by this. When it launches, if you will clip this now, when it launches, you can DM me and say you're a fucking prick. See, what do you know? I think 329 is going to be a struggle. At 85, I think it's going to be a struggle for most people to get without then just going if you're far behind. Yeah, so if you're you're dinging 85 2 weeks after everybody else does, of course, easy. You'll be able to go to the auction house, buy a couple of bits. You'll be able to get crafted bits. Boom, you'll be queuing in no time. But if we're talking day 2, day 3, where you've dinged 85, like Goaz, he's living proof. He's dinged 85. He's done every quest from 80 to 85 and been in dungeons with me. And what's your item level right now?
310, but I didn't do any dungeons while leveling up, and I haven't. I think we did one Blackrock Cavern and no leather loot dropped, so I didn't get any pieces from there. So maybe weaving in some dungeons while leveling up, which I would absolutely do when it launches, then that would probably help me get a little bit of extra eye level.
Yeah, absolutely. But it is still it's still not easy, is my opinion.
Yeah.
But when it comes to sort of what we're Jay, when it comes to what we're talking about, as in terms of what's an optimal way of gearing, I don't think people will really care too much in terms of getting queued for Random Dungeon Finder. As I say, the first time I realised that Jay wasn't able to queue for Random Dungeon Finder was tonight when it was available. It weren't like, oh my god, you're not coming to Heroics with us. What, with that gear score? It was like, well, no, we was clearing them in timely manners, no wipes, just smashing through them like it's all good. So, in time from 80 to 85, 20 hours, I would say, will be a good average. I've been saying that over and over again. I think about 10 hours, about 20 hours, which might sound a lot for 5 levels, but that would be my guess.
20 hours?
20 hours, 80 to 85.
Okay, I thought you said 10. I was like, no fucking shot. I'm getting it in 10 personally, but 20.
You think you're gonna do it in 10?
Better. No. I'd be happy with 20.
Well,
I feel accomplished.
84 to 85 is like getting from 80 to 81 about 4 times.
Yeah, it's getting from 80 to 84.
The XP jump is humongous. Yeah, literally. If you go on the beta and you get from 80 to 81 and you're like, oh, this ain't bad. Imagine doing that 4 or 5 times. That's 84 to 85. 84 to 85 is like 9.5 million. It's massive. So 20 hours is that'll be good. 15 hours will be optimal. 20 hours average, I would say.
Unless you're getting ooh shinied like I am, and I'm like, ooh, there's a mining node. Ooh, there's an herb. Ooh.
Yeah, but you get all these extra experience for those now.
Even 80 to 85, like the new ones give XP too. It's not just the lower level herbs and mining nodes.
No, I believe you get XP, and I believe it's level relevant as well. So like you actually get decent XP.
Ah, nice.
So let's I know how we should play this out. So let's say we're 80. Let's talk about factions first and how that works. So what, like, the importance of choosing where you're going to level by class. We're not going to go. We won't do every class, but I will show what I've been working on just to give you an idea. Because where everyone at the moment is like, oh my god, like I'm going to go and do Vashir because Vashir is going to be really quiet, or I'm going to do Hyjal because Hyjal's so much faster. If you went to one of them and they was about an hour slower, but you actually got like to revered in the reputation that's going to be really useful to you when you hit when you hit 85, that's going to save you more time than the leveling. Do you know what I mean? So it's like if you leveled in Vashir, but it took you an extra 2 hours to get to 82, it would take you more than 2 hours to spam heroics wearing the tabard to get to revered. Does that make sense to you too, first?
Yeah.
So,
yes.
So by class, it's important. So Jay, how does the reputations work? We'll get Jay in. I mean, go. I know you know how they work, but you like sitting there quiet.
Yeah.
They work very similar to how the reputations work. At Friendly, you get a tabard while you have the tabard on. Any end game dungeon gives reputation. I believe that's 84, 85 normal dungeons as well as any heroics. And each reputation has the helmet enchant for different roles and epics.
Epics. That's what we need.
What's that? 359 epics, right?
359, yeah.
And then you got Therazane, which is like everyone will need at some point.
Yeah.
So if I talk you through, like, I want you to, like, anyone who's watching, well, if you're watching live, you're watching back, whatever, I want you to kind of ignore any of the big detail on it. Okay, so because I've got more work to do on it, but this is what I'm working on at the moment. For all of you, it will be public, it will be on my Discord and YouTube links, like everything. And I'm working through the optimal like reputation route for basically every type of caster, DPS, plate DPS, whatever you are. So like for cloth DPS, it's gonna show you what each reputation gives that's relevant to you. Because like at Revered, you're gonna get a 346 item. So when you hit Revered, the reps are Earthen Ring, which is Hyjal and some of Deepholm. You got Hyjal, Earthen Ring. Earthen Ring. I said Deepholm and Vashir, didn't I? That's what I meant. Did I say that?
You've currently said every reputation and zone in the same sentence.
Yeah, right.
Just start again.
I'll start again. Earthen Ring is Vashir and some of Deepholm. Hyjal is obviously Hyjal, as you would expect. Ramkehen is Oldham, and then you got Wildhammer and Dragonmoor, which are both Twilight Highlands, but obviously you got one that's Alliance, one that's Horde. And then you got Therazane, which is Deepholm as well, and it takes you into Stonecore, and that everybody needs Therazane. And everyone gets the same thing from Therazane. So everyone gets a ring. So if I click on this link here, this will show the ring for a spellcaster. So everyone's going to get like a 346 ring, which is heroic dungeon level quality ring. And then when you get to Exalted, you're going to get your big shoulder enchant. So again, for a spellcaster, you're going to get this. You're going to get 50 intellect, 25 haste. So I've then looked at, basing everything on engineering alchemy. So if you was going in on any class and you was going in early on to get the most amount of epics that you can get, and then when you replace the alchemy trinket, you drop alchemy and then you pick up tailoring, for example, looking at like what you can get in pre-raid BIS. So if you was, and from reputations. So for a spellcaster, the only items that you need to get from a heroic dungeon is shoulders, wrist, and wand. That's it. Literally 3 items from heroic dungeons. And then you could go in. We're not saying pre-raid BIS as in fully optimized stats. We're saying every single slot is 346 or 359. So bit of reforging, you're going to be nearly optimal with sort of as little effort as possible. And then I've sort of broke down where you would go first. So as any spellcasting DPS, which would basically be like, let's say Shadow Priest, Warlock. I'm saying cloth DPS, by the way. So like Shadow Priest, Warlock, Mage, you'd want to quest in Hyjal to Revered. Because at Exalted, you get nothing. Literally, there's nothing at Exalted you're going to want. So you just get to Revered by questing, and then you're going to move on to Deep Home and then carry on. And it sort of guides you through which reps are the most important, where you're going to get the biggest gain. So questing is a really big part, whereas if you was to look at something like, was it Rogue? Yeah, so Rogue and Feral DPS, I've put as Vashir will be the most important zone to quest in, which is a Feral Druid with, being able to swim and you've got aquatic form and that, like a good zone for you anyway, even without worrying about sea legs and whatever, getting the little fucking sea pony you ride on. You're preferably going to want to quest in Vashir. But if not, then you'll use the tabard to get to Exalted. Because at Exalted, with Earthen Ring, you're going to get Cloak and Ring. So you're going to get like 2 items that you're going to use as pre-raid BIS just from that one reputation. Then you're going to want to go Ramkehen, because at Ramkehen, you're going to get your head enchant, which that covers 1 enchant. So it sort of guides you through what is going to be the most efficient way to get as many items as you can. Sorry, boys, you will get to talk in a minute. The interesting thing is some classes or roles get it so much better than others. Like wherever you see red, that means there's nothing that you can fill from a profession or something that's going to be worthwhile. So as a rogue, I've put a caveat down there at the bottom that you could get one of the blacksmithing weapons, but they're going to be so expensive for a 346 weapon that it's fucking pointless. But you look at the amount of red for a feral and a rogue, and then you look at the amount of red for a caster like a mage. A mage gets so much value, or a warlock gets so much value out of reputations, whereas a priest healer doesn't get that much value out of reputations, nor does feral and rogues. Whereas plate DPS gets shitloads, and that's because of reforging. Because there's a lot of like plate DPS, say warriors, rep paladins, where actually you can take tanking 359 items that are going to give you more strength, which is always going to be your best stat, and then you can reforge off some dodge. Because it's not like they've got dodge parry. If we was to use the cloak from Hyjal as an example, it will be like dodge mastery. So the mastery is going to be giving you straight up damage. The dodge, you can reforge 40% of it off, and it's now a 359 item level with the stat allocation of the strength, which is going to be of 359 item level. I'm not saying you're going to use this for too long. It'd be one of the first items you're going to want to replace in a raid. But the value that you're going to get is massive, because you're now going to get 3 items from 1 reputation.
If I remember rightly, like the Oldham braces are actually BIS for the Oldham tank braces are actually pre-raid BIS for arms warriors.
Yeah, I've got them on there.
Dodge expertise. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got those on there. Exactly. So yeah, and that's why it's in that order. Literally, you just said exactly what I wasn't hoping you said, but it's ironic that you did. So you'd go for Hyjal first, because you're going to get boots, belt, and cape, and then second is Ramkehen, because you're going to get ring, neck, and the braces, and then you'll reforge the dodge off the braces, and now you've got like expertise. Let's say you went crit. You're gonna have crit, expertise, dodge, strength, stamina, 359 braces, and braces are fucking hard to come by. Oh yeah. So there's classes that are missing. As I say, this is why like I'll share this with anyone who wants it, but I'm like throughout the week I'm going to be slowly working through this. So I'll put a link in chat now, but like just like keep refreshing occasionally, like every day or so, and you'll see it slowly being updated. It's just at the moment I'm kind of like, you know, I'm focusing on the classes that I know people want, as in people that I'm close to. So I'll get through them all.
I can't help but notice that you don't have a leather caster tab at the bottom, and you just said that you were doing this for people that you cared about. So,
and there's no shaman tab either.
You're not playing a shaman. You're playing a warlock. What are you talking about? You're cloth DPS. You're on the first one.
Did yours first. Yeah.
Go. Yours is next. Actually, like I'm going to be doing Boomy tomorrow because Boom is very easy. You're like you're quite fortunate. So the way the gearing works is if you're a hybrid caster DPS, you are in luck, because the way it looks like Blizzard actually originally put the gear on the vendors is they was like, oh, we'll put this one on because it's got Spirit on, so that's for the Resto Druids. And then we'll put this one on, like it's got Crit and Mastery on. This is for the Balanced Druids. And it's like, shit, I can get both of those. You know, so like you can really get, a Boom is going to have a good time getting gear. And so is an Ellie or Resto Shaman, like whichever, you know, either way round. So Shaman and Druid are going to be in luck. Agility users are the ones that come off the worst. And when we start digging in more into where you're going to get some of this gear from, you'll see like everybody's getting something good from archaeology. You know, so like as a cloth DPS, I'm going to be going for the archaeology weapon, which is staff of Sorcerer of Thane Thorazin, which is like really fucking amazing pre-raid staff. And I'm going to be getting the archaeology ring. You know, so I'm getting like 2 359 items just from archaeology. And then you look at a rogue or a feral druid or enhancement shaman or anything like that, and it's like, oh, there's nothing. Literally, there's no point even leveling archaeology unless you want toys and mounts and stuff, because it's all shit.
Enhancement shaman literally gets a level 50 bind on account helmet. It's like Helm of the Farseer or something. Completely useless. Completely useless to anyone. For no reason at all do we want this. Enhancement shaman is hated in Cata for some reason.
Yeah, so it makes gearing up, like plate DPS, as I say, I think they get it really well, being able to get like such a strong weapon from archaeology, being, obviously Zinrock, and then being able to get like tank bits that are specifically for tanking. But when Reforge is so strong and strength is so strong, like you get far more 359 pieces that you use as pre-raid than anyone else. Pretty much as a strength user, and even as like, a rep paladin, you ain't got to worry about a relic, or as a DK, you're not got to worry about a relic because you get a 346 one made by an inscription or a scribe that costs barely fucking any mats. It's not like it's expensive. It's not like you're having to worry about true golds or anything like that. It's just like, it'll be about 10 gold. I'll have one of those, thanks. I've literally got like a pre-raid BIS fucking relic just from a profession. And then I've put NG head for everyone, because, let's face it, I mean, most people are going to be engineering, aren't they?
Only for mats. Pre-raid. Like, do you plan on staying engineering for raid?
I'll be engineering throughout the entire expansion, yeah. As a mage, I'll be engineering for an entire expansion. It's not. Engineering tailoring will be the best for the vast majority of DPS.
What? I know this is what we want to talk about, but why?
Because, what? As in, why engineering?
Yeah.
540 of them. 480 of a main stat.
But it shares a cooldown with unused trinket.
Yeah, but the vast majority of casters, like as a mage, I won't be using an unused trinket.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
does.
Any snapshotting class, like I know Ellie Shami just can't run engineering, because like Soul Casket is mastery on use spell power, and you have to use that as like for LE snapshots and things like that. Like anything that snapshots probably won't be engineering. Like I'm going to be engineering on Warlock until like for the helmet until I replace the helmet, and then I'll be switching off it.
But what are you snapshotting? Because snapshotting is different in Cata anyway. What are you snapshotting as a Warlock where you wouldn't be NG?
I don't know for Warlock. I'm still learning for Warlock. I'm talking more like yeah.
Because obviously
like,
it doesn't
there are
refresh.
classes that won't use.
Yeah, it's dynamic in Cata. So you're like you can snapshot something at the end of a cast, but then it's dynamic. So it will like technically even if you was using an unused trinket, and then you pop your gloves after, your dot is then going to be stronger while you've got your gloves up after your trinket than it would be if you refreshed it while your trinket had dropped. Do you know what I mean? It's not like where you can keep it refreshed.
Yeah, you got to remember. Obviously, I'm mainly coming from Ellie Shami, where I know. So like, yeah.
But you can have two proc trinkets, and both procs can proc at the same time.
Yeah, and your gloves on top.
And then
energy at the okay.
Yeah.
I was like hoping that would happen, because if proc trinkets couldn't happen at the same time too, that would have sucked.
But what Jay's saying is absolutely right. Again, as in like, if you was to take a warrior and we were saying you're going in and you're getting the strength trinket from Fire, not even Firelands, you're getting what's it called? Yeah, from Black
Fury of Angerforge.
Fury of Angerforge, exactly. Now you can't stack that trinket with your gloves, so you're going to get less value out of your gloves. You'll always get more value from engineering with equipped trinkets than unused trinkets. But because of the changes to Snapshot, it's less impactful for casters, I would say. But still, again, that really comes down to me personally, my mage. I'm not sure about my Rep Paladin yet, but my mage will definitely be engineering tailoring for the entire expansion. I'm not going in with tailoring. I'm going in with alchemy. And then once I replace the alchemy trinket, because I'll be going volcano, alchemy trinket. Once the alchemy trinket goes, then I'll drop alchemy and I'll be going tailoring. Because the tailoring proc again is fucking mental. When you think about getting, like even as a melee, getting 1,000 attack power and your 2 equipped trinkets procking, and you're using your glove enchant from engineering, all on the pool while Bloodlust is up. It's like it's kind of. Well, it's mental. Let's just say it's fucking mental. It's huge. It's huge. I'm going to make a thumbnail. Be right back.
It's massive. No, I like the same thing in Wrath. Like, you got the ring proc from the ICC rep. I've got tailoring cloak procking. I've got trinkets procking. And nothing feels better than when everything procs at the same time.
I'm intrigued by this comment in chat, so I want to dig into it. Goff, why would you say level working? I mean, JC is not BIS for the expansion, so we'll put that out there straight away, just because I don't want misinformation being spread around in something that we're talking about, how people are going to gear and stuff. Like, JC is, like, literally, when we get to Dragon Soul, it's the worst possible profession you can literally pick. For the first 2 phases, it's strong-ish. It's not super strong, it's just strong-ish.
Leatherworking is BIS. Expansion BIS for tanks.
Yeah, it's the expansion BIS for tanks. But for every other class, it's shit. Like, to be fair, it gives you exactly the same benefit as every other profession, except that you're not getting anything that you can't buy off the auction house. Because you can literally go and buy the crafted gear off the auction. Like, let's say you're a leather wearer, being leather working, you can go and buy the leather gear off the auction house, and then be alchemy and get the exact same bonus as leatherworking, but also get a trinket to use for a little while, What makes it worse in Dragon Soul? Because epic gems come out.
Maybe they meant it was great as a profession because you can make gold selling the pattern to all the non-leather workers.
Oh, yeah, I mean, if we're talking gold, but obviously that's not what we're talking about. We don't care about making gold. But yeah, I mean, potentially it could be the best gold-making profession in the world, but if it's not going to give me damage, I'm not doing it. But yeah, obviously that's the same. It's the same way that actually, if you want to talk about the absolute best static bonus gain in Cataclysm, you go from blacksmithing being the absolute worst through tier 11 and tier 12 to the best in Dragon Soul, because you get far more gain out of blacksmithing because 2 sockets is worth more when the epic gems come out. And it's not worth that much when there's no epic gems. And obviously, dual crafting goes the exact opposite way. Dual crafting is a little bit stronger. We're talking a little bit. We're not talking massive numbers here. It's a little bit stronger in phase 1 and 2. And then, obviously, absolute dog shit, worst profession you can pick in Dragon Soul. But the value of something like a massive proc on your cloak, like tailoring's like full stop BIS for every fucking DPS. Like I wouldn't even debate it. Like it just is. There is no question. It gives you the most average attack power or spell power. Like as I say, there's the maths has been done. I know in private service, Demonology Warlocks snapshot mastery for their metamorphosis pets. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to work in Classic. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to work. But yeah, you'd have a mastery set where you'd snapshot it, and then you'd snapshot your pet, and then you would obviously switch back to your normal gear setup on the pool. I don't know if that's going to work or not. We'll see.
It's kind of I hope it works because it's fun and will do lots of damage, but having 2 sets of gear just sounds horrible.
Yeah. I feel like it's the sort of thing that Blizzard would change, if I'm honest with you. Like, they seem to change that sort of cheesy gameplay style. I don't know, maybe to make it more approachable to everyone. I'm not saying it's a good or a bad thing. Like, I like that. If you want to try hard enough to have 2 sets of gear, like, fucking go for it, man. Like, do it. But then Blizzard are like, no, we can't have that.
You've not seen, like, Shaman in Dragon Soul, have you? Ellie Shamies get the Resto set so that they can pop their Spirit Walker's Grace and then switch back to Ellie for, like, a 20-second mini Bloodlust on pole.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I remember you talking about it during Firelands. That was when you were talking about it, wasn't it? You wanted both tier 12 sets, yeah. No, they don't. They're not individual. As in, no, they're not like archaeology, Rob. Yeah, the nodes are exactly the same as they are in Wrath. So you got battle bots, unfortunately. Anyway, sorry, we've gone a little bit off topic, but yeah, I just like, I do try to make sure that what we're saying is, if there's something that we don't know, we openly say we don't know. But yeah, professions, I think, is fairly fucking clear cut, to be honest with you. What's going to be best for the vast majority of classes? There might be niche situations where one outweighs the other. For example, Subtle made some really good points on the Paladin podcast, where he was talking about, him not actually wanting stamina and wanting to go really heavily mastery orientated. So he's like, he didn't actually rate level working particularly high. I still would. I would still rate level working, and I said it, during the podcast, I would still rate level working higher, because level working is not just giving you stamina, it's giving you extra attack power as well, which is giving you extra threat, extra damage for the raid. When the stamina difference on level working is so drastically different, which the reason it's drastically different is because there is no new enchant. There's no new stamina enchant for bracers. So your choice, if you want stamina as a tank, is your 40 stamina enchant from Wrath of the Lich King, or leatherworking, your embossment. It's just like such a massive, massive difference. But then at which point you'd probably use the 65 mastery on bracers instead of stamina anyway, if you weren't level working. Cool. I feel like I've spoke so much.
I mean, you don't shut up, really, do you?
I'm gonna get a gin and let you talk a little bit about gear. I'll give you a minute.
He's gonna be quiet on Wednesday, so he's getting it all out now.
But, I mean, yeah, they like That is correct. In fairness, running mastery on braces for Prot Pele and Prot Warrior because of their block value. I'm looking forward to how many people that traps.
So I was looking before we went live on the material cost of the engineering helm, and the mats seem pretty crazy. I don't know if there's any daily or like multi-day cooldowns from blacksmithing, because it's 30 elementium bars. There's 3 pyrium bars.
So both of
Yeah, go ahead.
both of those are doable, are just craftable.
Okay. And then a lot of volatile, like fire, water, air, earth. Some obsidian bars as well, but the mat seemed pretty hefty.
The only thing that's a daily transmute, and this is something we can actually talk about, the only thing that's going to be a daily transmute is True Gold, and it's from Alchemy. And it is going to be very expensive because for tanks, your pre-raid BIS shield is crafted. Your pre-raid BIS chest piece is crafted. And I believe there's another piece as well. I'm going to say legs, but I think that's wrong. And all of it needs True Gold.
It's just chest belt and shield.
Belt, that's the one.
I was looking at the base material, so I guess it's hardened elementium bar, ocean sapphire, true gold, the chaos orb, I think drops from heroics, electrified ether, and then handful of obsidian bolts.
Oh yeah, I could literally get that. It's not a challenge. I could get you all of those mats in 30 minutes of mining. Well, other than the chaos orb, obviously, yeah, you're gonna need to go and do a heroic, and they should be bind on pickup. They're bind on equip, well, not equip, but you know what I mean. They're not bound on the beta, but they should be bind on pickup, and that's literally going to be the longest time. Like if you was to go and say, right, I'm going to get my engineering helm, I'm going to do a heroic, and you hard reserve the chaos orb, in the time it took you to do the heroic, I'd get you everything else.
I just remember in Wrath that first week, it was trying to get like the blacksmithing bars crafted in time, and it was stressful. So I'm glad it's going to be a bit easier, hopefully, this time around for the NG helm.
True Gold's going to be the only thing. True Gold's going to be the only thing that really holds people back, because it's going to be so contested with tanks and then other people needing it for NG helmets and things like that. But it's not too bad. You can do it once a day.
Well, you've got the biggest issue is like, yeah, again, what Jay said, just to echo him, like True Gold. But even the tailoring, like I'm not sure whether we're going to get the chaos cooldown on launch. That's the one thing I don't remember from back in the day. Obviously, it's in on every private server. I can't remember whether it was actually in at launch. So every tailoring, so you can make tailoring belt and legs, and they cost six cloth. So the tailoring cooldowns change where you can actually make 6 a week. So you can make 6 every 7 days. So each one of them's got a 7-day cooldown. But one of them, it requires chaos orbs, and it's something ridiculous like 6 chaos orbs. The other ones are just volatiles, like that's easy. But in general, as a cloth wearer, if you've got 2 tailoring alts, so like which I will have, like for my mage, I'll have 2 tailoring alts. I'll make 5 on, let's say, day 2 or 3 of launch, and then I'll make another 5, 7 days later. But you only need 6, but they're bind on pickup. Does that make sense? So you can't like sell the cloth on the auction house. You just need.
You're on about Dreamcloth.
Dreamcloth, yeah. They're bind on pickup, yeah.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say even on release it was 6 separate cooldowns.
Yeah. So, but realistically, if you've got tailoring alts, you're only ever going to make 5. So it's going to take you like 8 days to be able to make 1 item. So I'm looking at I'm going to get the belt and legs on day 8 of Cataclysm on 2 different tailors, because it's going to be very difficult to go in and get. I'm sure it's I'd need to double check, but I'm sure it's like 5.
It's 4 chaos orbs.
4 chaos orbs. So you literally, yeah, you'd need to go in and get the Chaos Orb from 4 different heroics, which that's not going to be easy. So really, like, if you're a cloth wearer, you want 2 tailors, like 2 tailoring alts that you're going to do all the cooldowns on, and then you know that in the second reset of Cata, you're going to have your belt and legs, and it's not going to cost you anything.
Can you buy the Chaos Orbs with honor and justice points, or is that coming later?
That'll
That'll be later,
I believe.
Yeah, you wouldn't get that at the start.
I figured, but
Because you have
who knows?
So you have something where you can convert both honor and justice points into resources, and that's in from the start, the trade goods vendor. But I believe Chaos Orbs weren't added to that until they become BOE.
So that's
which
a good.
Is in Dragon Soul.
That's a good point. Yeah, it was Dragon Soul. I'm sure it was the final patch when they became where they weren't bound. But that was really good point what you just said. So when we're talking about like in the pre-patch, making sure you got 4K justice points, you're not going to trade 1 for 1. I think it's like 375 for 250. But you can, so you can get like 4K honor points as well during the pre-patch, and then spend your justice points when Cata actually launches, and then convert your honor points into justice points, so you're not feeling forced to use PvP gear. You can actually. I worked it out the other day. I can't remember, like 6.5K, something like that. So you can almost get like 2.5K over the justice point cap to get more 346 gear at launch.
Yeah.
I feel like we're just throwing information at them. Just fucking take this shit, boys.
The other one that's kind of going to depend on when it's released, but could be something that's incredibly important, is Dark Moon cards as well.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's it's going to be exactly the same as Wrath, where the first, we all ding 85, and the first 2 or 3 days at 85 is just one big rush to make as many Dark Moon cards as possible.
I'm seeing Volcano is probably the one I'd be after, and I didn't have to go for a Dark Moon Fair trinket in Wrath, and I don't want to do that in this. So if I can find an alternate trinket that's on or not on use proc, I might try to skip that one.
You want Volcano?
You're gonna want Volcano.
There's no two ways about it. But go, you're with me. We're already setting that up.
Oh yeah, you're the alchemy fucking master.
No, we're setting it up. We literally are already planning on how we're all getting cards. The one thing that you do need to do before then is make sure that you got a max herbalist. That's it.
All right, I'm leveling up a secret tune right now, so I guess I know what profession that's gonna have.
Is it a druid?
It's actually not.
No, for fuck's sake, no. You want a druid that's level 80 and it's got herbalism.
I'm gonna pick the wrong one.
Yeah, no, trust me.
I think I do have one right now. Yeah, I already have a druid up there.
Well, on the beta, I've maxed herbalism and mining as a druid on my alt druid, and literally the nodes and the herbs are so nicely placed in Cata that with a roots and then herb it and then fly off, or a cyclone and then run off, you will be able to get everything as a level 80 alt as long as you're a druid.
Yeah, that's what I do in Wrath. Exactly. And I like farming stuff like that, so I will do my due diligence and send herbs your way.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to have a separate guild with a separate guild bank that's already set up with max bank tabs, and we'll literally be dropping herbs in, all of us, between us, and then Stark's going to be milling them. Stark's then going to put the cards in. We'll be forming decks. We'll be looking at who put the most herbs in this week. That card, that deck's yours. That deck's yours, and we're not week, day. I'd imagine we're going to be pumping out multiple decks a day. But yeah, Dark Moon card decks, guys, all of you need to understand. The casters, mega strong. Like, Volcano is disgusting. Like, you'll still be using it once you've cleared all heroic content in the first phase. Trust me, you will still have it equipped. Tanks, dog shit. Don't worry about tanks. They'll go and do Toll Barrett. They'll get better. Even to be fair, even strength and agility, really, really strong early on, but they will get replaced. But the casters, you really... and healers, Tsunami is really good. 321 intellect and then stacking spirit. Just a really strong, just constant, nice, not throughput, nice, what's the word I'm looking for, Jay?
Regen.
Yeah,
Regen?
yeah, nice regen trinket. Yeah, there was another word I was looking for, but that works. But your casters, you want to get as many volcanoes as possible because it's a big trinket. The tank trinket's shit. Honestly, don't worry about tanks. Melee DPS is good. Melee DPS is 321 agility or strength, and then it's got just a proc where it just does some like wind damage or air damage or whatever it is. It's Dark Moon Card Hurricane. But it's still not. It's not massive. Like you'll want it before you start raiding, but you will replace it. It's not like Dark Moon Card Greatness in Wrath, where you got hunters still using it in TOGC. You will replace it, but it's a really nice pre-raid BIS trinket. But the caster one's fucking bonkers.
Whereas most casters will be using Hurricane and Volcano and Bell come Firelands. Like that's your setup.
100%. 100%.
And even then, like there's not huge trinket options in Firelands. Like you're going to be keeping both of those for at least progress through Firelands.
I'd use Volcano over Avengers of Hyjal Revere trinket. Because again, that's a huge trinket. I'd rather Volcano that I can use in conjunction with my NG gloves.
Shammies have to farm the Avengers of Hyjal one.
We're all going to be farming Avengers of Hyjal. Even if we don't want the trinket.
Are there any other mats for those, like volatiles or anything that you need? Like
Loads of life. Loads of life. Yeah, they're going to be an absolute fucking pain in the ass. Let me tell you the exact... I honestly can't remember the exact mats, but I think it's the same bottleneck as there was in Wrath.
Like, volatile life is going to be extortionate amount of money on Cata release. Like, that's the hold that... Like, most people can get the herbs. The herbs are very easy. There's, like, 3 different places you can go, and you can farm hundreds of herbs an hour easily. But getting the enough volatile life to actually cover the crafts is horrible.
Yeah, it's 30 life per card. Like
the fuck.
Yeah, per card. Yeah, like it's a lot. And that's the real big bottleneck. More than the herbs, more than the milling the herbs, and volatile life is going to be expensive for fucking hell. 3 months of Cata, I would have thought. Where they'll hold their price really well. The bots are gonna fucking love the first phase of Cata. They're gonna love it.
So, little tidbit: one of the best ways to get volatile life in Cata that is completely uncontested: fishing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've been looking at sealed crates. Is that what it's from?
Potentially. I don't remember. You can just loot them from fishing as well. I know that, but yeah, it's like everyone like goes straight to herbing or engineering for volatiles, but fishing's pretty overpowered.
And
it's the first expansion that I plan on actually doing it on release.
When you look at the stuff that life is needed for as well, like it's far more than just like the cards are a big one, but every flask needs life. The trinkets, the alchemy trinkets need 50 volatile life. Like it's a big market.
You got to remember that guilds are going to be trying to, depending on how certain things with the guilds work, guilds are going to be trying to pump out flasks as well, ready for the cauldrons.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, they're going to want a mad amount of like the more volatile life you can get, the more money you make in just every aspect of Cata. That and True Gold are the ways to make money in early Cata.
I feel sorry for our streams, Jay, because you're going to be streaming by then as well. Well, and Go's stream, I feel sorry for that as well if he's not fucking bumming Season of Discovery, the big pussy. Because I'm going to be getting to 85 and then I'm going to be on a druid flying around getting volatile life and herbs. I'll be like, right, guys, ready? Nice 14-hour stream today, and I'll just be doing laps around Oldham, like over and over and over and over again.
At least they get a change of scenery. My plan is to do 14-hour streams of me just led on my sofa fishing.
Yeah. Well, we could do duo streams of you fishing and me herbing. Then they get to see everything. They get to watch all the high octane. Go can even get involved.
Archaeology. Yeah,
I was going to say
archaeology.
Right, other gear. So, okay, we've established that like crafting is mega important. Like it really is. Like you get so much gear from crafting, and like the good thing is what I like about Cata is that it's not bind on pickup. Like you don't have to be blacksmithing to use the plate gear. You don't have to be leather working to use the leather gear. So it creates a really good economy. Which I do really like. Inscription's gonna be an absolute bitch getting the Dark Moon cards, obviously. But that sort of goes nicely into this, what we was looking at earlier, where you can start ticking things off. It's like, right, I'm engineering the NG head, like Go said earlier. You know, he's looked at it and been like, man, that looks like it's gonna be really expensive. It's not. The Inferno rubies, I'd say, are gonna be pretty rough. Yeah, the one true gold. I'm hoping that, like, you know, all of these podcasts that we do over the next however many weeks, because I want to be doing, like, at least 2 Cata podcasts a week, which Go's going to love. I'm hoping you all realise that you want a couple of alchemists. If you've got any alts and they're just sat around and you're not doing anything with them, just put them as alchemy. Like, trust me. So you can just supply yourself with true gold. Like, if you want to make gold from it, great. Like, sell them. But, you know, there will be things where you're going to need true gold and they're going to be like 2k, 3k, and you're like, I ain't fucking paying that. You know, so just like have an alchemist or two yourself.
To give people some context, on a fresh private server that has no inflation, people buy your cooldown for 1,000 gold a day. Like, and that's zero inflation. So, like, you then have, you know, the amount of gold that's going around in Wrath, that people are going to be paying extortionate amounts of money just for your cooldowns.
Yeah.
They were paying 500 gold that first week, like minimum, for that blacksmithing bar in Wrath. Yeah. So 1,000, sounds pretty cheap.
Yeah, but like Jay's saying, we're talking fresh server. There's barely any gold on the server and they're paying 1,000 gold for your cooldown. Like, true gold is a big thing. What was he about?
We got Buns Glazing. Thanks for the super chat, man. We haven't had any in a while, so
First super chat. Right, get your super chats in, boys. Ask questions. Obviously, I ignore chat until I see something glowing, and I see buns. I see buns. I see buns glazing buns.
Oh, they're glazing bright. Any work from home people about to AFK fishing all day? Yeah, I work at an actual building. I can't work from home. I'm a mechanic.
I work from an actual building. Opposed to what? A tent?
I started to say it. I was like, I work at an actual job, but no, like, you can work from home. But
an actual building.
I have to commute, and I'm upset about it.
He works with an actual building with actual people, actual things.
Yeah, and he makes actual money.
A little bit, not much, but I'll be fishing at work too. Not even at home. I'll be using the laptop fishing.
So I'm gonna put something out there, and I'm gonna throw this at you, Go, because like me and Jay, obviously we've got a lot of Cata private server experience. I personally feel like the professions in Cata have been done almost to perfection. So from our discussions tonight so far and what you know from playing the beta, what are your thoughts on the Cata profession so far?
Well, the beta's been bugged as far as like the leveling up part, but I really enjoyed that on the private server. So like that's got some good things going with it. But it sounds like it's a lot of materials compared to what I had to personally as a balance druid do in Wrath to get some like BIS stuff. But the whole BOE stuff, I do kind of like having the BOP that maybe is slightly better if you were that profession. So having everything BOE, it is what it is.
Well, not
It's
not
nice, it's
everything's
cool,
BO. Not everything's BOE.
Okay.
You know, like you still need to be alchemy to use the trinket, still need to be engineering to use the head. But when you really look at it, a lot of it is like cross profession, where it's like you can't. It's a bit like Season of Discovery, like to be fair, where it's like you need help from other professions to be able to make the stuff.
Well, that stuff I don't like. I like being able to have like a gather profession and a crafting profession, and I can craft all my shit. Maybe there's items that come from like dungeons or something like that, but I never liked being an enchanter and having to have like a blacksmith craft my rod for me. Like I didn't care for that, and that was all the way back in vanilla.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm the opposite. I do actually like the interconnectivity where you do need to either go to somebody else or you do need to, yeah. I've always liked that, but I'm a Star Wars Galaxies player. What can I say?
And
I'm a Star Wars
solo
Galaxies player.
my solo player is shining right now.
I was about to say, I want less interactions with people.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to have to whisper somebody or buy something off the auction house. I like being able to farm my own stuff, craft my own shit, all on my
Yeah,
own.
but then you can, but you just need more characters. You know, I used to do the
I need to
same.
level another alt.
Yeah, the reason I say I liked it, like as Star Wars Galaxies, I would have a bioengineer, I would have a chef, one character was bioengineer chef. I'd have an armor smith, I'd have a weaponsmith, I'd have everything and then be self-sufficient. You know, I like having that where you can have multiple characters, which, bearing in mind, you don't need to be 85 for. So it's like
75, right?
Yeah, 75. But like what I was saying earlier about having a farmer, like if you've got a miner and herbalist, which is a druid, like you never need to even get to 81, and you'll be able to farm everything like just fine. Maybe not quite as efficiently, because there'll be zones you can't go to. Like you're not going to be able to go to Deepholm. But to be fair, like, between Twilight Highlands and Oldham, which you can fly around, and Hyjal, you don't really need to go anywhere else anyway. So I like that, where it's like, I like setting up, start of an expansion. I want every profession. I want to have my farmer. I want to be sending shit to different characters and being able to just do everything and not relying on Jay to give me his G to G like discount code to have to buy gold. But there was another super chat.
Yeah, Alex, thanks, man. I have corrupted Ashbringer, so I'm so cool and edgy. Is that the one from Nax? Because I don't remember where it was, but somebody was trying to think of the name of that the other day. The one that you can go into SM and there's the RP.
Yeah.
Is that? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I like it. I like stuff like that. That's not professional stuff, but a good little RP every now and then never hurt anybody. We got a lot of cutscenes in Cata. Glad that they fixed that on the beta. That was a high priority.
Yeah,
that got mentioned in a blue post.
Yeah, that thing that I'm leveling multiple characters, and the one bug I've not actually experienced yet has been fixed. I'm really pleased with that. Right, okay, so that's crafting. Reputations, we've kind of covered exactly sort of what they are. So what about heroics? Like if we talk about dungeons, like the jump in difficulty between what we're expecting from normal to heroic, and like 3, 4, 6 gear coming from heroics, like what would you say is the expected gear that you're actually going to need to go in, because we play the game differently now. Like I just want to point that out now. Like ordinarily we'd be fine with going in, doing heroic dungeons, getting our reputations done, getting some crafted gear. Then we go into a normal for a week or two. We get our normal gear. then go into heroic. Obviously, that's not what Cata's going to be this time round. What is it going to be like going into heroic straight away in Bastion of Twilight and Blackwing Descent with 346 and 359 gear?
So almost like the hardcore guilds are going to want everyone at 350 plus, like just baseline, because almost everything, maybe melee agi DPS would struggle, but everyone else will be able to hit 350, and that will be kind of the top end of pre-raid gear. I imagine we might get, maybe not from like world first guilds, but certainly we might get some trash farm in Bastion of Twilight, just because how strong some of the BOEs are. I know Unheeded Warning is an amazing like agi DPS trinket, so that's something that people are going to want. You've got the gun, you've got the sword,
you got a one-handed sword for Zach.
Yeah,
Zach's going to need two of those. The only Fury warrior in Cata.
The Fury Rogue. And then I think we're going to see, like, Bastion of Twilight, the first two bosses are going to go down very easily. I then think people are just going to abandon Ascendant Council. Like, maybe not world first guilds, but, like, everyone else is just going to abandon Heroic at Ascendant Council and go to the other raids.
So here's the only place where I'd interject slightly is World First Guilds couldn't clear Sunken Temple in Season of Discovery this week. Because
but that's harder, obviously.
They run out of mana. I don't know. It's taken a massive step down in my estimations, where I know how hard, and you know how hard, like the Cata raids are on Heroic when you've got gear. I don't know. I'm not sure this time round. And I know we say that all the time. So like, I'm putting it out there straight away for all of you in chat, where you're like, yeah, we said that in RAF, we said that in TBC. The thing you've got to remember is when we went from vanilla to TBC, Karazhan, Gruul, and Mag were a piece of piss because the content almost resets. Then you go into RAF and the content almost resets because you're doing Nax, which is a piece of piss. It's made for having no gear. Cata almost is an extension of RAF, where Bastion of Twilight, BWD, and Throne of the Four Winds, they don't reset and all of a sudden get easier. They're like, there's ICC, now you've got the new raids that come with Cata. They step up rather than step down and then eventually step up again to Dragon Soul. So I'm not going to call it now, because like I hope I'm proved wrong, and I hope the World First Guilds clear it in a night, because I don't really care what they do. Like, it's great. I hope they do. But at the same time, I think we're dealing with a completely different beast, where there isn't that hard reset.
I think the only, like, I'm going through every boss and I can't see a boss that, if you got 25 players that were all, very good world first players, I can't see a boss in the first tier, but like stopping them.
I don't know. I genuinely just don't think there's the Cata knowledge there. I suppose the difference is they can go and test it on private servers, and they probably already are. They're probably already refining their tactics on Whitemane as we speak. Learning everything inside out. So actually, someone said it in chat, to be fair. They didn't test that. So I suppose that is, like what Ryan said, is true. There was no way to test that. So there is. No matter what Blizzard do with it, they probably could have spent the last year doing the first tier of Cata raids. On off raid nights, just to get the mechanics down completely. Yeah, no, I kind of go back on what I said there. Yeah,
like, so
just based on that.
I was going through the bosses, and like, so Omnitron is one of the hardest tier 11 bosses, and is going to be a hard cap for most guilds. but I'm willing to bet within. I mean, on release there will be a weak aura that just solves Omnitron for you, and tells you what to do. It's not a hard boss. The only hard part is tracking multiple bosses at the same time, and a weak aura will just do that for you. Nefarian is a particularly hard boss, but again, that got solved on private servers. So again, it's going to come down to a lot of private server knowledge. I think if they get the right private server kind of experience help in the world first guilds, then I can't see anything really stopping them.
I kind of hope that actually Blizzard test everything other than the raids, and maybe just overtune them just a little bit for fun.
They haven't even tested their own beta, so they're not going to test the raid.
Oh yeah, I know exactly. But if they just went, this is what it originally was. Let's just slap 20% on there, and we'll just throw it out. We won't beta test the raids, or we won't PTR test the raids. We'll just see what happens. I think that would actually be good for Cata.
I agree. I would be down for that.
No.
On heroic, on heroic only, the same way that private servers do it.
Only, okay.
Yeah, so the same way that private servers do it. Private servers most of the private servers, because there is that knowledge of people that play it, tend to come out with some form of increased damage and healing thing. There's no extra mechanics, but yeah, it's difficult. But you can go and do normal, and normal is exactly the same and clearable. But I would be down to see that. I think that would be really good for the game.
It would suck fucking asshole if we grinded for the first 10 days of launch, got all this pre-raid gear, farmed as many volatile life as we could fucking stay awake for, got our trinkets, and we go into the raid and then it's fucking bugged and you can't even clear it.
Oh yeah, that would suck.
All that was for nothing.
Then you
have to wait for an update, and it's just well, how long is the update going to take? How big of a bug is it? How many dev members are working on this instead of SOD level 60 stuff? So PTR this, please.
Yeah, but when you say bugged, I mean, there's a difference between being bugged and overtuned. I take something that's overtuned. I take something where we're fighting the boss, but we're hitting in rage timers because we're not doing it efficiently enough.
Every dungeon so far is bugged on the beta. Unless fixing the bugs that are in the dungeons right now also fixed the raid for some reason, it was the same type of style bug, and one fixed the other, then okay.
I'll completely contradict myself right now, because actually, in the grand scheme of things, I don't care. As in, because when I really think about it, I just like the Cata raids. I don't actually care anymore whether they're hard or they're easy. I'm still going to enjoy them. They're still going to be harder than the RAF raids. They're still going to be more engaging than the RAF raids. So it don't really make a difference to me whether there's some world first guild that goes in there and clears it in 20 minutes and it takes me 20 days. I'm still going to enjoy it either way.
I just want it to work when it goes live and is accessible to everybody. That's all.
I think this is one of the first raid tiers that we've had in Classic where people should just not expect to go in and clear Heroic Week 1.
There won't be many guilds that clear Heroic Week 1.
Yeah, but okay, Nax, everyone went in 25-man Nax, cleared it, right? There was no challenge there. Most guilds that took themselves semi-seriously expected they were going to go into Ulduar and clear most of Ulduar, if not all of the Ulduar hard modes, week 1. Everyone expected to get, 45 out of 50 TOGC. Everyone expected to give, maybe 7 or 8 of the ICC heroic bosses a kill. I think this is the first raid that Magmor is literally the first boss that you're going to encounter, or Halphus, and that boss can kill you.
But it is that difficulty curve where it doesn't reset. That's the best way I can word it. It don't matter what expansion you think about before Cata, the first tier is always a piece of piss. This is not this literally is. Can you do ICC? If you can do ICC normal, you'll be all right doing Blackwing Descent and Bastion Twilight normal. Can you do heroic ICC? You'll probably, you're going to have to learn the fights, but then you're going to be able to do heroic Bastion Twilight and BWD heroic. But it's not like an all of a sudden, we got no gear, the raid's easy, let's get gear, and then it will slowly ramp up. It's like a constant curve going up from ICC all the way to Dragon Soul, which is what I actually like. And that's what people didn't like back in the day. That's what took them out of the comfort zone. It was like, it's the first tier. Like, how can we not clear the first tier of content? Like, we done Nax when Wrath came out, and we didn't have a problem. It's not, this ain't Nax. This is like, an extension of Wrath.
Yeah, I like having that easier raid to ease me into the new expansion, get my new abilities down. So
you've got that. It's called ICC. You get all your new abilities pretty much in ICC. So you'll have time. Don't worry. I knew you was going to say that. I had that prepared because I knew you was going to say it.
Mushrooms is 85.
Oh god, a new button.
Normal is not that difficult. Like, realistically, normal is not that difficult. Normal is where people can go, and it's like ICC level difficulty. You then go to heroic, and it's a step up. Like, I think we need to normalize the fact that people shouldn't be like, okay. I'll say it like this. If you go into SOD right now and you haven't cleared Noma, you're a noob, right? If you don't have a pass or you don't have logs, someone's just not going to invite you because the expectation is that you're a bad player because you haven't cleared it. The expectation shouldn't be you haven't cleared full heroic bosses, therefore you're bad in Cata.
What just feels bad, I think, is trying to find a raid group. Say I miss my main raid night for the guild, and then I have to go to LFG chat, and then the requirement for a heroic raid versus a normal raid is going to be a lot steeper, and it would feel shit if I didn't quite meet that expectation of like a hard mode raid for whatever reason, and then I had to take that normal raid group, and then failing mechanics in a normal group, I would just probably uninstall.
I would be very surprised if you see Pugs doing full heroic tier 11 clears for a while.
I think you'll see GDKPs doing it eventually, but when I say eventually, it might only take a few weeks, because there's some GDKPs that are literally more organized than, guilds raids nowadays, but yeah, an actual pug that are looking for more in trade chat. Yeah, fucking no chance. Not unless we get really nerfed versions of the content. Then obviously that could be a different story. But the difficulty I'm expecting, I don't see that happening.
It'd be fine if the Cata raids were hard, as long as they don't continue to make the SOD raids hard. I don't want both versions of Classic to have hard raids. And you could say, we'll just go back to Classic era. There's your easy raid. I don't want to do Classic era. I want to do SOD or Cata. So if SOD takes a chill pill, they're already nerfing the fuck out of Sunken Temple. Hell yeah. Good job on that one. But if we get to 60 in SOD and then it's hard, and then it's like, do I want to do hard stuff in SOD or hard stuff in Cata? I want to have a chill next expansion, if you want to call it that, a chill next year of playing Classic. But also,
you make it sound like you're shit though, and you're not. Like, do you find ICC hard?
I want to do the hardest content available, but I don't want to like struggle. Like, I don't want somebody in my raid group to fuck a mechanic up 6 minutes into a boss fight and then it's a wipe.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get you're gonna get that. Yeah, unfortunately, you're gonna get that.
So I just don't want that type.
And his name is Zach.
Yeah. The content is less forgiving, but it's not. That's not just raids. The dungeons are less forgiving. If you've got an idiot that don't know how to interrupt in a 5-man heroic in Cata, you are probably going to be running back. If you've got a healer who's like, "Hi guys, I'm new to the game," like Cata is a little bit more punishing. But the best way that I could possibly put it is if you feel comfortable in ICC normal. I'm not saying heroic, just normal. You can get through ICC normal. You'll be fine in Cata. Because there'll be content for you to do. Like if you can do ICC normal, you'll be able to do all tier 11, 12, and 13 on normal. If you can do ICC on heroic, you'll be able to do tier 11, 12, 13 on heroic. It really doesn't change that much. It's just got unforgiving mechanics.
We'll see how I like it. I might just have to suck it up and not get the best loot, and that's just gonna feel bad. But if it's a lot less stressful to do the normal modes and just clear it and have fun and have a drink, and if I fuck up a mechanic, I don't get belittled by the raid leader. This is week 17.
I don't know how hard you think it's gonna be. I mean, should we have a little run?
I don't know.
Let's have a little run down of the bosses, Jay, because between me and you, let's have a little, like, because this will help everyone in chat, everybody watching back, you know, ease your mind a little bit. I wish I could put, like, some kills on the screen that we've done, but I'm not prepared because I wasn't expecting this. But, you know, we'll talk through tier 11 bosses and really go over just how mechanically challenging they are. And I think everybody will realise that they're not. Like, they require a little bit of, a little bit of effort and a little bit of ability to play, but it's not like, oh my god, this is like mythic raiding on, you know, in retail. It's really not that bad.
No, like each boss has 3 mechanics roughly.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm gonna have a piss. Go. So let's go with BWD. Let's a little spitball about BWD and go. We're gonna pretend that we're educating you. Yeah, so if
you're not pretending, yeah, you are.
but don't just sit there. You know, like if you're like, well, what if I done this? What if I done that? You know, ask questions. So Jay, start with wherever you want. Start with Magmor. Yeah, start with Magmor.
So Magmor is typically the first boss that you'll fight. You have a choice of 2. He is a big lava worm. He sits in the corner of the room. And you're going to, on normal, the tactic slightly changes for heroic, but on normal, you're going to split into 3 groups, which is the tank side, because he does frontal things. You have the DPS side, which is going to be kind of melee DPS and healers. And then in a ranged group, you're going to have a stack of ranged, which are going to bait a certain mechanic. So the mechanics he does is a, like, puddle of fire on the floor that explodes and spawns worms. Oh, parasites is probably the better term. And if the parasite gets to someone, it will debuff them, and when the debuff runs out, it will spawn another parasite, so on and so forth. So the idea is you spawn them outside of the group. Typically, you'll have like a hunter or someone do this so they can just root them or slow them, or a boomy that can knock them away. Everyone will turn around, kill the worms, go back to the boss. The boss does a chomp where he eats the tank, and 2 people have to jump on his back, literally just an interact with, and you spike the head and have a burn phase. And that is the entire boss. On heroic, he does AoE raid damage, and the last 30% is a burn phase. That's the entire boss.
And there's an ad as well, isn't there? There's like the big ad that you just nuke down as well on heroic.
Lord Victor Arius.
So he jumps in and does something that is the last boss of the raid. On every boss, he adds a mechanic. So the mechanic that Scott's on about, he adds ads that are literally just going to be handled by a tank picking them up and dragging them into melee and not cleaving people, and you just cleave them down.
Best way to think about the whole of BWD, but for anyone who plays Wrath right now, and for Go, is imagine when you're doing Festagut and Festagut and Rotface. On heroic, on normal, they've got their mechanics. On heroic, Putricide adds an ability. So Putricide interferes with a fight, don't he? By throwing goo. Or well, mainly throwing goo. So it's like that. But Nefarian is interfering with each fight in BWD on heroic. So it adds 1 mechanic. That's it.
So are these parasites going to count on my parse?
Well, I don't care. That's I don't care. I was gonna actually say something more than that, but then I realised no, actually, I just don't care. As long as the boss dies and I get my loot, I don't care whether they count on your pass or not.
I'm trying to like. How long would you say this fight takes on heroic?
It takes progression. It's going to probably take 2 spike phases, which happen a minute into the fight, and then I believe it's like a minute or a minute 30 after that, and then it's going to be a slight burn phase after that on heroic. After you've killed it once or twice, it's literally going to be 1 burn phase, pop bloodlust, and burn the boss down.
So like 4 minutes ish tops by that point.
On progression, on re-clears, I wouldn't even say that long. Like a minute into the fight, he's going to have his spike. Then he's going to get spiked for 30 seconds. Then he's going to sit up and he's going to be lower than 30%, and you're just going to burn him anyway. Like, it's going to be like a 2.5 minute fight.
The first, if you're worried about those long fights that you're seeing in Season of Discovery that are just, that they're almost, what's the word? They're not difficult. They're long. Like, there's nothing hard going on. It's just like, rinse and repeat, do the same thing for like 5, 6, 7 minutes. The only battle is your mana. There's the first time you'll see that is literally going to be Ragnaros in Firelands.
No, I would say Nefarian prog is going to be, yeah.
If it's not repetitive, is it? It's not like it's a lot of different phases.
It is quite a long fight.
Yeah, it's a longer fight. Yeah, that's fair. But Go seems to be worried about the fact that the fights might just be like, how long's this fight going to take? Like, are we just doing the same thing over and over and over again?
Lich King is a long fucking fight, and if you get to one of the end phases and then all of a sudden somebody drops a defile, then boom. Like,
yeah, they're not
10, 12 minutes gone.
They're not like that. Trust me. There is fights. You know, again, like Ragnaros, Nefarian, still. I wouldn't say it's as long as Lich King. There's some. It's long.
It's about 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Are you guys referencing like the private server like mechanics and strength of the bosses and links of the boss fights, or like the original?
I'm talking about original.
Server, okay, like if it's private server, are those tuned like health wise and stuff like the Wrath?
Well,
private servers were.
The group that I was doing heroics with on the private server was killing Magmor in less than 3 minutes, and that's with health and damage buffs.
But they have dampening, don't they, on White Mane? It's like, yeah, where it's, don't you just naturally just heal and damage less or some shit? They've got like a really weird hidden debuff type thing, haven't they? Yeah.
So, and like I said, we were doing Magmor on re-clears in less than 3 minutes. I think that it's going to just fall over once you've done it once on heroic.
Yeah. But none of them are...
What's the main mechanic to look out on for Magma then? Is it going to be the parasites?
It's the parasites.
Being overwhelming? Okay.
So it's not overwhelming. They just have to be controlled. So one good hunter just carries that entire fight. A Boomy can do the same thing. An Ellie Shami can do the same thing. But Hunter's the best at it. And it's just baiting the fishers and making sure that they get trapped. And then as soon as they get slowed and they've spawned, you just all range DPS turn around and hit them, and you return back to hitting the boss. That's it. If it gets to a point where the parasites start reaching the group, then you might have other issues.
But it's pretty basic. But then that continues on. We don't need to do every boss because we'll be here all night. But like the same continues on with like, if you was to go through any boss in Blackwing Descent, Chimeron, it's a healer fight. You know, occasionally you're going to stack when you need to stack, and you're going to have your raid cooldowns organized. Outside of that, the healers, the big mistake they'll make on like the first week when they don't really know what they're doing is they're just going to be trying to top people's health off when there's no need. because you have like a little robot that's saving everyone from death. So I think it's 10k health off the top of my head. Yeah. So if you drop under 10k health, then you take damage, you die. But as long as you're over 10k health, which bearing in mind 10k is really low when you've got like 150, 160k health. You know, the healers just need to be looking. You get a little debuff to show that you're under 10k, and that you'll need like a 3 or 4k heal. Do you know what I mean? It's like healers hardly use any mana if they know what they're doing, but then you'll get other healers going, I'm home, 20 seconds into the fight, because they're like spamming, trying to top everyone off. And Maloriak is all about timing and control. Like, you're just interrupting the boss when it does lightning storm. Your AoE and the ads down when you get the green ooze. So, the ads can actually take full damage and they die. None of it is like difficult where you're going to be like, oh my god, I'm so stressed out at this shit. Because you really won't be. It's literally ICC, but a better raid.
The first time that Go does Halfus, you will like Cata raiding.
Oh, Halfus is amazing. As any class. Well, actually, other than a rogue. Like, even as a rogue, it's not bad if you know how to play. But yeah, like, Halfus is an amazing fight. Because,
I mean,
you're going to have like 70 mobs to AoE down.
Can we talk through Halfus? Because I feel like that's the fight that I will always use to sell Cata to someone.
Well, yeah, you go for it, because I'll be honest with you, I couldn't tell you exactly what debuff every dragon does. So, if you
I can tell you all of them, but I can tell you the base stuff. So, basically, he's entrapped like 5 dragons. On normal, they rotate. So, you only have access to 3 at a time every week, and they rotate every week. So, the fight kind of changes a little bit every week, which is a little bit annoying, but it's on normal, so it's not too bad. It doesn't influence the fight too much. On heroic, all of the dragons are there, and you can release them all, and he's got them charmed. So you have to fight them, but once you've finished fighting them, they then debuff the boss with their debuff, whatever that is, as well as increase the damage he takes by 100%. So, like, the tactic that everyone uses pulls out 2 dragons and the whelps and the boss on pull, and just presses Bloodlust and full AoE nukes, and you'll have people doing ridiculous amounts of damage.
Fire
and then
mages.
as things,
Sorry, I just
and as things start dying, and warlocks. Warlocks can beat you on that fight. And Pumis and Shamis and basically everyone.
Thank you, though.
And basically any casters are great. But yeah, like you pump AoE damage into things, you start killing mobs, and then as you kill the mobs, suddenly the boss takes more damage. You can start hitting the boss, and the boss takes more damage as well. The whole fight's just a complete cluster for like 3 minutes, but you'll see your meters at the end, and it'll be really high, and it's just a super fun, chaotic fight.
And
that also gives some incredibly good loot.
And as a Disc Priest, obviously, because the boss is taking more damage, if you're a Disc Priest, like, spamming on the boss, as he takes more damage, your heals do more. So, like, Disc Priests are overpowered on that fight. Yeah, anyone who's got ridiculous amounts of AoE is overpowered on that fight. Yeah, it's good. It's a good welcome to heroic content.
Yeah. Ellie Shamis are good on that fight, just saying.
I'm looking forward to seeing what ridiculous damage Fire Mage is doing Classic on that, though, I've got to be honest. Because
I'm looking forward to griefing Fire Mages with Leap of Faith.
But yeah.
That's it.
I mean, that's that. All right, so we went into the raid, and we weren't quite ready to go into raid. We've spoke about professions and what we're going to get. We've spoke about factions. To be fair, I do feel like we've covered a lot of what we was going to cover in terms of, if I look at my notes,
to just be pre-raid gear.
Archaeology. We've not really spoke much about archaeology, and archaeology is huge for the majority of classes and should be in the game during the second part of the pre-patch. which means you're going to have time to get it maxed ready for then when Cata launches, and you can then get it to like 525, at max. There's certain classes benefit more than others. I mean, melee DPS, like archaeology, is going to be very, very, very important. But
two-hand wielders.
Yeah, two-handed wielders, exactly. Oh, I mean, to be fair, even if you're if you can use a staff as any type of caster, it's huge as well. But I'm really intrigued to see what sort of re-roll chance we've got on each archaeology solve. So when you solve something, then you're obviously gonna you'll solve that, and then you're on to the next one. Like how long it's actually going to take to get the two-handed sword, which I'll put on. Hang on. So if we go to this, so you'll see, like for melee, if I go to plate DPS in particular and go archaeology, like getting Zimrock, there is nothing that you can get better pre-BIS as an arms warrior, an unholy DK, blood DK, a rep paladin. You just want Zinrock. But it comes from troll solves, which is quite, that's not too bad. It's not like you're trying to get solves that specifically come from Oldham, which would be like Tolvir. So if you want to specifically get like a Tolvir solve, you're looking at like a cloth DPS. Where's my ring? Archaeology ring. So now Ring of the Boy Emperor is Tolvir. So you're specifically going to be trying to solve stuff around Oldham. I don't really know whether that's a good or a bad thing. As in, at least every time you see an Oldham solve, it's when you're flying around Oldham and you're getting dig sites, you've got probably a higher chance of getting Ring of the Boy Emperor than you have of getting Zimrock. But expect to see a lot of plate strength using two-hand DPS, just basically doing archaeology for, I don't know, from when they ding until they get it. Because I would argue that your time is better spent getting this than, I don't know, spamming heroics trying to get a two-handed 3-4-6 weapon. Because if you get unlucky in raids, this could last you a few weeks of raids, to be fair, even if you're doing heroic.
I mean, for most classes, this is only beaten by Nefarian Sword, I believe. Maybe that's just human, though.
Yeah, no, but it sounds about right. Like, again, and that's if it drops. You literally could be using this for a good few weeks. So your time spent on archaeology is probably going to outweigh... God, that's so boring, though, isn't it? But it could outweigh doing anything else.
Can I ask you a really basic question? What is archaeology? I know it's like you have an item, you have to like place it in the ground, and then you discover things and loot them, and then you have to loot so many of them, I think, and then you can turn it into something, or I forget how it works, but does it change at all from like 1 to 80 to the Cataclysm zones, or
no?
Is it the same concept like the whole time?
It's the same concept. Nothing changes with it. So you see dig sites on the map. You go to them, you find the fragments while you're in the map. Each dig site will have 3 fragments or 3 lootables that give fragments. I believe it's a lot higher than I remember. We were talking about this earlier. And then once whatever the solve is, so it could be like 30 fragments that you need. It could be, for example, Zimric here is 150, I believe.
150, yeah. It's 150.
Yeah, so like there's differing amounts, but you can see what you're solving towards at the start of the process. So like if you're doing troll souls to get Zimrock, then you can, when it ticks over and you do a solve, you'll automatically see what the next solve is. So it might just be that you're like, okay, I've just solved this, and then all of a sudden Zimrock pops up and you're like super excited.
Did it give reputation as well or anything like that? What am I thinking of?
No, you can make some good gold. You can make good gold
Okay.
from archaeology. And I mean really fucking good gold.
has one of the coolest, or a couple of the like really, really cool mounts. So fossilized raptor, which is like a bone raptor. It has the, do you know, like the scarab tanks from Anchorage?
Black
It has
Courage battle tank.
a black version of that. The recipe for Sands of Time drops from there. Vala Sand, that's it. Drops from there, which is the 2-player mount in Cataclysm. 2-player flying mount, I should say. Yeah, like it's super kind of rewarding, but it's a long process to level, and then it's a lot of luck based to hit things.
I'm gonna try and demonstrate while we're talking. Yeah, like I've just got archaeology, so I'm 1 in archaeology, literally 1 of 75. You get survey, yeah, obviously, which you're gonna use survey.
What was that?
Survey. And then you've got your archaeology. So at the moment, because I've not done anything yet, I've not dug anywhere, it's not going to show me anything. So at the moment, like my closest dig site from where I am at the moment is going to be Winter Spring. So we'll go over there and we'll dig that up. But while I dig that up, Jay's going to tell us all about the items that that are relevant that we can get. So like Tyran's trinket, Ring of the Boy Emperor, all that shit.
Just close this tab. I hate you.
I mean, I can just tell you it all if you want.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, didn't need you to help me anyway.
No. I'll just carry on surveying so they can see how it works. Surveying.
Surveying. There's a couple of like cool toys and pets. So like Crawling Claw. There's a toy that summons scarabs. Obviously mounts that we've talked about, and then like the key items that people are actually going to be farming. So Ring of the Boy Emperor, which we've talked about already, which is Int Mastery Haste Ring. You have a Spirit Crit Strike Spell Power Staff, which is very Healy staff. You have Tyrande's Favorite Doll, which is a Intellect Trinket. All of these are bind on account, by the way, which is what's insane.
I was just looking at that, yeah.
Yeah, like you can farm all of these on one character and then level your ult and just shift them all across, which is actually kind of amazing. Tyrande's Favorite Doll, which stores mana costs, and you can release it to do a little bit of damage and get mana back. You have a shield, which is, equal to pre-raid BIS shield, and you don't have to spend a ton of money on True Gold, so it's something that tanks will probably farm. You have, I don't know if I mentioned the sword, you have a one-handed sword there. Zinrock, you have Staff of Sorcerer Thane Thurazan, which is Crit Haste Spell Power Staff. You have a couple of like low-level weird items that no one really cares about. Like I mentioned earlier, you've got Headdress of the First Shaman, which is a level 61 helmet that shouldn't exist and is just trolling. But I think that's about it, really. But again, you're going to make a lot of money doing it because each of the grey items you solve sell. So, you can make a bit of money doing that. There's a cool little Hearthstone there. There's all sorts. It's fun. It's not fun. I don't find it fun.
It is fun. It is fun. And like you guys have just seen, so like the whole process of it is you'll be stood, you'll survey, I can speak English now, and you'll see that that's got a red light. If it's got a red light, it means it's quite far away, but it points in the direction that you're going to go. So then we'd go a lot further over here, and you can see on the map like what the boundary of the dig site is. So we know, like, it was quite far away, so we could, like, drop and survey here. So we do it here. It's red, and it's pointing in that direction. You're going to go in the way the scope shows. And then we can try it here and not make food. Drop that, and now it's yellow. So we know it's fairly close, but it's not, like, right on top of us. And it's in this direction, so we could, like, just blink over here. And then drop one. Drop one. Now it's green. So green means it's very close. So literally, I could just go to here, drop it again, and it'll probably be, a little bit further over in this direction. And it will be here, I would imagine. There we go. and then there's the actual fossil find. Now I'm getting archaeology skill from looting it. So the best way to level archaeology is to make sure that you're doing this bit, like the surveying and running around and grabbing the, grabbing the fossils until you're no longer getting skill up points from that. Because if you start like solving it, the quicker you're going to get your archaeology up, but then surveying is not going to actually give you XP anymore. Not XP, skill points. So you want to be running around and doing this bit until you can't actually get skill up points from looting the shit anymore. But like Jay was saying, when you then go to your actual archaeology panel, because I've only got night elf like fragments at the moment, you can go on that and you can see I'm going to solve a scandalous silk nightgown. Which at this level, obviously, it's going to be dog shit. Like, it's not anything. It's not a rare. It's not like, it'll be something that we vendor. But you do get some things that give like ridiculous amounts of gold. You do a solve that gives you like 100 gold or something. Literally just for archaeology.
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 I believe some of the rare grey items are 1,000 gold. For some context for people.
I had a list actually. Archaeology. Let me see. I did have a list of all of the things that you could get.
Well, Scott, you just said the name of your gin whenever you get it crafted. The archaeologin.
The archaeologin. Yeah. Yeah, we can go for that. I need to try and find the list. I had a really good list that showed you exactly how much everything was worth. And you could, honestly, you can make some good gold doing this. Like if you was really bored, you've got to be really bored, to be fair, to do this. But yeah, you could just fly around, do some archaeology, and make some half decent gold. But my top tip would be to make sure that you go around and just pick all the shit up rather than solving. Because if you solve, you'll get like, let's say 5 points. But you might as well like save all of the fossils up that you get. Get as much skill points as you can by just running around picking all the shit up and then start solving everything.
You also like spend you don't use certain fragments so that you hit, because I believe you need to be like 515 or 510 or something to be able to get Zimrock show up, or Staff of Sorcerer Thane. So what you do is have like 500 of those fragments prior to hitting that. So as soon as you get to that level, you can just solve back to back and hope that you get lucky.
Yeah. I've had very, very, very mixed information on that. Where you can get Zimrock at 450 or it's 525. I believe it's 525. I actually think you need maxed archaeology before you can get the 359 epics.
It wasn't on Whitemane.
Yeah, but I believe it's how it was. Again, I could be wrong. But I kind of feel like you need max archaeology before you can even get one of the 359s to be able to solve, because it would make sense.
And even then, like you can still save.
Save them
max level with
save them, absolutely save them. But yeah, I've seen mix it because people was like, what, you can do archaeology in the pre-patch, so I can farm Gymrock in the pre-patch. Oh, well, no, because you're not going to have the actual archaeology skill to be able to do it in the pre-patch. But if you look it up, it does show 450.
I am curious if you could pretty much instantly get 525 from pre-patch. If you went round and gathered like 500 of all of the different fragments.
Well, you can only get 200. You can only get 200.
Is it 200? Okay, because that's different then. So maybe it was different on White Mane, because I'm sure you could get 5.
Well, you can only get 200, but you could have keystones to fill in those gaps.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if you can just go and gather, like, whatever the maximum is, but, like, go and gather the maximum of each of the different factions of things, and then just solve them all.
It'll get you ahead either way. Like, you're still going to have a better chance. I will be doing that. I'll be capped on fragments for every race. But man, I've started doing a little bit of archaeology just to show the stream how it works, and like I'm sat here like I just want to sit here all night doing archaeology now. I like
I could tell how excited you were. Yeah, when you were in like flying to Wintergrasp, you didn't blink. You didn't take your eyes off of the screen. You were like dialed the fuck in, like ready to get there to find the first one.
Mate, archaeology is so good. It's the best profession they've ever added. I don't care what anyone says. Everyone's like, oh, it's so boring, and like, but you're flying around. Like, you're flying around doing a bit of archaeology, and it's fun, and kill people that you see.
Very different reasons.
Well, for world PvP reasons, I think it's great, and I thought Go would have loved that.
That's the reasons why I like archaeology, because you go to a dig site, especially Stranglethorn Vale dig sites, where you know that they're troll, and you will see 700 warriors just running around, putting their little robots down and looking for dig sites, and you just gank them.
But your stuff that you find is totally separate from everybody else's, right? Like, okay.
but the dig sites are in the same location. So even though you're getting your own like personal fragments, the dig site is in the same place. But yeah, it's fun, and that's why. Oh God, we should have touched on that at the start. Well, don't bring it up now. Go.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you should be, because I want to talk about it. Just because I want both your opinions on it. Let's get gear out of the way first. So archaeology, anyway, is a really good source of sort of pre-raid BIS for many classes. Unless you're an agility user, then kind of fuck you.
Then fuck you, I guess.
Yeah, but is it fuck you, or is it like, well done, you ain't got to bother with this shit? Yeah, it depends what way you look at it. Like, as an agility user, you literally do not need to do archaeology.
That's perfect, because the rogues won't be out there ganking. That's brilliant.
Yeah, and they won't. They literally won't. Well, unless they're just leveling it just for, achievements or whatever. But, cast the DPS want to do it. Healers want to do it. But then again, going back to what Jay said earlier, which obviously is 100% accurate, is they are bind on account. So technically, if you're a rogue and you know, oh, my next character is going to be a paladin, you'll go around and do it anyway. So you can get your paladin a fucking level 85 sword, which is really powerful as soon as it dings. So that's such a big deal that we need to make a big deal about. Where it's like,
yeah.
You may be farming pre-raid BIS, but you're also farming pre-raid BIS for every character that you level from then on.
So I'm going to say it, and Blizzard, if you're listening, which I still think you are, add some more things, like a one-hand axe, an agility one-hand axe, that and a ranged weapon. Like a gun or a bow, so warriors and hunters and stuff can get something.
A gun would be great.
That would fill out the profession so well. Everyone would want to do it. It's not mandatory, but it is rewarding. It would fill it out so well. I hate the fact that, because I played it in Huntswood Shaman, it was my main for a long time in Cata, and there's no reason to do any archaeology. There's no reason to do like any fancy stuff with professions, because none of it actually gives me anything. It's just so like, I'm gonna get to level 85 and I'm gonna sit in heroics.
Yeah, I actually 100% agree. Which, in terms of professions, if you said, like, before we started the podcast, if you was like, look, I want to suggest a few changes about professions, I'd be like, no, everything's perfect. Like, what do you need to change? But then when you like archaeology, why wouldn't you? Like, what a perfect time to actually go, Yeah, add a bow, add a, I don't know, an agility trinket. You know, like the things that we wouldn't expect, where it's like minimal effort. Surely it's minimal effort for them to just stick a couple of archaeology items in. You know, it can't be that hard.
Yeah, they've done it in SOD. Yeah, why not?
Exactly. Because it does kind of suck that for certain classes, archaeology, the only reason you would do it is for alts. But if you're like a rep paladin or a DK or a warrior, you know, and they're like your classes, you know, they're what you play. I mean, getting fucking Zemrock is fucking sick, isn't it? Let's be fair, because it's like, oh, as soon as I replace this, I'll send it to my alt. And then, like, as soon as I ding, boom, I got a big weapon. And the same with, like, but it does continue on. I know this ain't a mop podcast, but, you know, like, when you get to mop and you can get the umbrella, you know, I always remember being like, as soon as one of my casters dinged, it was like, right, send it the umbrella, send it the Ring of the Boy Emperor, send it, like, you know, Tyrann's Dole. It's like, fucking hell, look at this cunt. It's like 85 and it's geared. It's got better gear than level 90 is. You know, like, it is still, it's a good concept, but yeah, I think if they built on it, that would be, yeah,
I'm not asking
cool.
I'm not asking for much for it. Genuinely, like 1, maybe 2 items, and it would be decent. Like, you have every other role is filled by archaeology. You know, 1 hand strength, 2 hand strength, casters, healers. The only things that aren't covered is a ranged weapon and a melee agility weapon.
Yeah, so a dagger and a bow. Like, add a dagger and a bow.
No, screw daggers. Someone said a fist weapon instead of an axe. I actually kind of agree with that. That'd be cool.
Or a fist, yeah, a fist weapon.
I'd like to get fisted, and a ranged weapon.
But this is what's great, by the way. So, like, look at where I am at the moment. Look, I mean, in one zone, you know, and I've got 2 dig sites next to each other.
You're still fucking.
Mate, I get it. Yeah, shit. I shouldn't have mentioned anything, should I? I get addicted to archaeology. I love it. It's really weird. And I get well excited. I tell you, the most exciting thing with archaeology, and there's no way I'm going to be able to replicate it or show you it right now, is when you land and you dig and it's on top of you.
God,
yeah. That like, it's not quite happened, but then when you dig again and it's in exactly the same place, like, that is the best thing ever. So, like, if I go over here, it'll be roughly here. But then imagine I go boom. Oh, where is it? It's here. But when you dig and then you pick it up, and then you can just do the same thing again, and it's in exactly the same place. Oh, he done it! Oh my god! Oh shit!
He's not going to stop doing archaeology. Thanks, guys, for joining us. Jay, it was great having you.
It's now an archaeology stream.
What are the odds? I literally called it and it happened. That is literally the best thing that's ever happened. Oh, I thought he'd done it again. It didn't do it again.
And it's on the beta. Oh.
But that is literally the best thing in the world. When you do it, you loot it, and then you do it again, and it's in exactly the same place. I am so happy right now. Oh, I just need to get a towel because I've cummed on the floor.
You aiming down?
Yeah.
This guy's gonna shit himself over that one. That was so good.
He didn't have time to get hard. It was just dangling down and just shot right out.
I'm gonna log out and stop archaeologing. I'm sorry. Anything else about gear? So archaeology, good gear. Factions we've spoke about, and we've spoke about the you know, like the order roughly, which I'll do more on that spreadsheet over time. Heroics?
Talk. We can. Yeah.
No. What did you want? Go. What did you want?
Like how to make our gear even better. Like the gems. Is there any patterns that we need to farm from certain places for our jewel crafters, or are they all just like learn from the trainer? Same with enchants. Is there any reps tied to enchants that enchanters need to focus on getting rep for, or dropping from certain dungeons? Is there anything like that?
No, it's all more like your main sort of whatever your main resource is as a crafter, and then you get it from a vendor. It's not quite as exciting as them coming from other places. You know, so
like, there was the jewel crafting tokens, I think, right, in Wrath, and you could only get a certain amount of those a day or something. So you had to pick which like gem cuts you wanted, and you had to like organize with your guild jewel crafters. All right, I'm getting this one. You get this one.
A lot of the patterns that you'll need to get for Cataclysm, you can still do a similar system to that where like different people pick up different things, but it's I'll use leatherworking as an example because it's just the one that I know requires heavy savage leather, which is something you can farm. So you could go out and just farm it all yourself. But you have to, and then it requires the fur. It's not Arctic fur; it's the Cataclysm equivalent. But you have to go and like some of the bigger recipes require that to buy the recipe. So it's farmable mats. I know enchanting, it's like the shards is a lot of them, and then there's some that are the epic crystals.
Yeah, and then JC is illustrious jewel crafting tokens, which I'm pretty sure you can trade in. Hang on, I need to find a fucking browser. I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's all the same, where it's like quite repeatable, but not where it's like gated too much.
And like same thing for meta gems.
Well, what do you mean? What, as in crafting the meta gems?
Yeah, like is it hard to get the meta gem patterns?
No,
Like
not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. I've got it already on the beta.
Yeah, the only thing I looked up for professions was like the jewel or the engineering helm, and it looked like that was just straight from the trainer. So I was like, oh, that's simple. Yeah.
I'm just trying to make sure that that what I'm saying about the illustrious jewel crafting tokens is right. But no, like, or even the tailoring. Yeah, like Jay said, you know, with leather working, it's handing in leather. Tailoring is handing in the cloth. Enchanting, handing in the shards. You know, you're trading in your main sort of your main profession's crafting reagent to be able to buy tokens, to be able to buy recipes. But the only one I'm not 100% on is jewel crafting, because I never go jewel crafting because it's shit. So that is what I'm double checking at the moment.
Dailies for jewel crafting start at 495, and you'll need to complete jewel crafting dailies to obtain the necessary currencies. So you'll have to buy your recipes from 495 to 525.
So it's exactly the same as Wrath then.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Like alchemy is going to be the same thing again, where it's like discovering.
Yeah, alchemy is discovered. Inscriptions discovered. Engineering's discovered.
Is it haste potions or potions of speed in? It's haste potions, right? In Cata.
And then volcanic in. Yeah, it's haste potions in Wrath. Yeah. Oh, potions of speed. But then, yeah, in
and then it's volcanic. Yeah, okay.
And then volcanic in
I know
Cata.
that they're discoverable.
I'd say the only one, literally the only one that is behind a daily is jewel crafting.
How many days does it take to get one pattern?
Well, it's only 2. Looking at that, well, there's some that are 3. Yeah, maybe 3 days. I'd say jewel crafting's one that I don't go, because I just know that, you know, after a couple of months it's going to be dog shit. But that's on a private server. But yeah, you're looking at like 3 days.
And then the food buff, I'm assuming we get like a new feast, and then you probably have to get up to max fishing in order to do the max cooking.
So that's seafood magnifique, and it will be or should be a guild fishing achievement.
Oh, we just have to fish like
you have to
10,000 fish as a guild or something.
Yeah, as a guild, and then you get the recipe. And then everybody we're cooking can buy the recipe.
And cauldrons are like the best thing in the world.
Oh yeah, cauldrons are massive. Yeah, go on, Jay. Yeah, do cauldrons.
So cauldrons again should come from guild achievements. So it's to craft. I'm going to say it's 1,000 flasks as a guild, and then you can buy a cauldron, and the cauldron requires like 3 or something of each of the flasks, but you put it on the ground and everyone can take one, use it, and then everyone can take another one as well. Like they're crazy. Like it'll just supply your entire raid with flasks.
I could just tell Scotty's doing archaeology right now.
I'm looking up there, but I'm still looking at dual crafting. Because I don't remember. No, I didn't. Look, I'll stick the top screen on. I can't. Sorry.
Because it's archaeology.
let me log off 1 sec, and then I'll do it. Yeah. See, I was looking at illustrious dual crafting tokens. Yeah. I mean, I can't believe you didn't believe me. Unbelievable. What an absolute nub. As if I'd stand here doing archaeology on a beta while we're talking on a podcast. Yeah, no. Oh my god!
It happened again.
Illustrious dual crafting tokens.
That was all I could think of. I just wanted to get a little knowledge on those consumes really quick.
Yeah, I mean, like Jay said, like cauldrons, obviously the fish feasts, they should come from guild achievements, which is great, and I hope it stays that way. Because, like everyone pulling together and really looking at that counter going up, like, fucking get out and get fishing. Get out and get fishing so we can get fish feasts, and then that sort of then drives more mats into the guild bank to then be able to make the fish feasts. And then everybody actually contributing with the cauldrons, because obviously you get more from a cauldron than you would if you was to make the flasks. Like loads more, especially with guild perks. I mean, it's not really open as gear.
Is there any achievement that gives a crafting pattern or something that we would want to go for? We had like the Death Chill Cloak, I think is what it was called in Wrath, like a huge caster cloak right away at the start, and it was tied behind like Lore Master. And people did all the quests in order to be able to craft that as tailors, but nothing like that.
No, you've got stuff beyond guild achievements, as in, well, you should have stuff beyond guild achievements in terms of heirlooms. Getting your guild to level 10 will be cloaks. I think it's, what is it, guild 10 cloak, 20 head. Legs. Is it legs? And then, no, I thought it was 20 head and then legs was working together as a team.
Yeah, that might be it. You might be right.
Yeah, so if you've got every max profession in the guild, then it'll unlock whichever way round it is. Like whether Jay was right, whether I was right, whatever, it doesn't really matter. You'll get, like, let's say cloak and legs just from leveling your guild, and then you might get the head from working together as a team. I think you get legs from working together as a team. Whatever way around it is.
Now you've said it, that sounds right.
Yeah, so that's having all 525 professions in the guild. But with how the guild panel is looking and stuff on the beta, I mean, who knows? Maybe they changed that.
Anything else to cover, Scott?
You what?
Anything else to cover? We got, I think, most of it. We found everything.
So we wanted to go over how to get rep and what the important ones will be, so we know you're going to get a tabard. There's certain zones where you're going to get to revered almost just by default, just by leveling them, and rest you'll finish off in dungeons and heroics. Overview of important mechanics in dungeons. We spoke more about raids than dungeons, but that's fine. Like we can do a bit of a dungeon deep dive at some point. Sources of gear, archaeology, BOEs, crafting, covered in to some extent. No, I'm cool. I think we've covered everything that I'm happy with.
So we'll just be back Wednesday for Season of Discovery, episode 537.
Oh, I don't feel very well though. That is the only thing.
8-hour show.
I'm hoping I get over this cold that I've got before that starts.
It's all that digging outside, Scott.
Yeah. I think. Oh, Jay, do you want to? Oh my God, I'm gonna die. Do you want to go on Wednesday instead of me and talk about Season of Discovery?
Oh, I've actually caught your cyber cold.
Oh God, that sucks. I'll find a replacement for me. Dreamology is going to come. He offered. He said, "Lol," in chat. Right. So we're going to see this stream out in style. This podcast out in style. I'm going to get another gin, and then that's it. I can't think of anything else. I was going to say Go would do a Jaeger bomb, but he probably ain't got a Jaeger bomb, and Go don't look like he's been drinking very much tonight, so we won't stand.
Like that.
You got Jaeger bombs? Hey, he actually has. Get your super chats in, and we'll see this out in style. Jay, get your drinks on the go.
I don't have any Red Bull.
Anything. It just sounds like Jaeger then. No bomb, just Jaeger.
Just the straight Jaeger. Yeah, I have been sober this whole show. He did call me out on that.
Same. I've only had one. I've had one can of Pepsi. That's it.
But before everybody heads out, Jay, where can everybody find you at for all of your Cataclysm stuff? What videos do you have coming out the next week or two?
None right now. You can find me at MidJ on YouTube. I have lots of information about Cata. If you have a question, I've probably answered it at some point on there. And yeah, I'm kind of going through just doing casual questing on the beta at the moment. But now that they've started to fix things, I might just push it and get to 85 so I can do some fun stuff instead and not archaeology.
What? Are you saying
not
archaeology is not fun? I mean, I just plan my whole stream tomorrow around doing archaeology, and you're saying that's not fun? Jeez,
duo archaeology stream. Let's go.
Yeah.
Every time Scotty discovers something, it's a spin of the wheel.
Oh yeah. Where can people find you? Go anywhere?
Normally
at ridiculous hours of the day on Kick, as I've been discovering recently. Season of Discovery.
I was up at like 4 in the morning. I think I went live. Maybe it was like 5 my time, but yeah, I went live for a couple hours on Kick and did a little solo Nomer at level 50.
No, well, it's BFD. Stop lying.
PFD. I keep getting them mixed up. I really didn't mean to do that.
I was watching. Yeah, I know the bullshit that you was doing. Made my eyes bleed.
Bosses. Yeah, I got Aquamentus or whatever and Gamora down by myself. But yeah, you find me on YouTube, Bounce Druid Extraordinaire. I got some stuff. I'm like, the more we talk about Cata, the more I want to make videos and like deep dive and find everything I can about it and disseminate the info to the masses. So that's where you can find me. And you can find me here on Wednesday with 2 special guests, with Scottejaye as well, unfortunately. Well, maybe he will just call out.
No beer, don't worry. Oh.
You'll fire the stream up and then just like turn your camera off and go away.
I'll go AFK for 30 minutes and let them talk about Season of Discovery, and then I'll come back when they're finished. Don't worry. I'll come back. Can you imagine if I'm like, "Hi guys, welcome to another podcast. Today we're talking about Season of Discovery Phase 3. I'll be back in a second." And then I go, and then I come back absolutely wankered. Like, good podcast, everyone, was it? I'll close it out there. But naked, obviously.
Of course.
Naturally.
Right, all right. That's where we're ending it. Thank you, guys. Thank you for watching live. Thank you for all your comments. I'll tell you what. I'm in a good mood. We'll give it 5 minutes if you want to ask anything. Q&A. Let's have a 5-minute Q&A for the guys that are watching live. You can ask anything. We'll make something up if we don't know it, and if we do know it, we'll tell you facts. We won't differentiate between the two. We'll do what we can.
Yeah, you decide. Yeah, two truths and a lie. Like, here we go.
Yep, go. I'm going to leave you to highlight the comments. Go on, get your messages in. Q&A. You can ask anything you want for 5 minutes, and then the podcast is done. And it can be aimed at me. Go, preferably aim it at someone if you want to aim it at someone, and preferably it be about Cataclysm. But if it's not, and you want to be personal and maybe size of Go's playing it's micro, whatever, anything you want.
I got one up there. He asked earlier on stream about how inscription changes going into Cata and how it works with glyphs pre-made before pre-patch hits. Any clues?
Okay, that was aimed at you and Jay.
I answered in the comment, but as far as I know, you can pre-craft them and they will be learnable. So if you just have the glyph in your bag, you'll be able to learn it, and obviously it will be permanent at that point.
All right, Fail asked, what was the worst part about the shoey to me? The smell or the taste? And it was the smell the day after when I took my son to a physical therapy appointment, and I'm sitting out there in the office with the other parents, and I could just smell what was it? I had like a dark beer. I had like a porter that I poured into my shoe, and I could smell it coming from my shoe. But the taste wasn't that bad. It actually wasn't that bad. It was foamy as fuck, like pouring it into the shoe. But taste-wise, I thought I was going to just immediately yak, but I didn't somehow. How wanted are DPS warriors in Cata?
Very much so. Very much so. Pumpers.
Why are you mean to Go? I'm assuming that was to Majay, because Majay just gives me shit all the time. But
I'm looking at Jay.
Well, that's because you say that you don't use glyphs and you try hard in duels and things.
Called out. I feel really called out. Majay, another one directed at you. How should Ellie/Resto Shaman start off professions?
Tailoring, and then whatever you want as your other one. Technically, engineering is BIS if you don't have 2 proc trinkets. But if you do have 2 proc trinkets, otherwise it's useless because we only care about it for the snapshot. I normally start as Ellie, as tailoring alchemy, which is, I believe, what Scott's going on his fire mage as well.
Yep.
All right, we got another one. Are you going to move to Goldmag EU PvP so you can see my corrupted Ashbringer and bask in its glory? Scotty and I'm pretty sure, are going to be on Mancreek NA. Majay, where are you playing? Are you gonna be there with us?
I'm on Mancreek.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for the invite though, Go.
Yeah, no problem. We need somebody to distribute loot. And nothing would make me happier than you being the loot master and looting me the staff in Firelands. Oh.
Yeah, you can have the lootable staff, and I will have the non-lootable staff. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, you literally just put your fate in the hands of someone who's playing a warlock. I feel like it was fucking stupid.
Scotty, what brand of gin are you drinking?
Gordon's at the moment. Yeah, just Gordon's. But to be fair, I've been drinking more. Oh, this is so bad. I've been drinking more than that tonight. I've been drinking Whitley Nil. I finished off another bottle of Gordon's. I also finished off another bottle of Gordon's. Tonight was one of those nights where I sort of polished off the last few shots of each bottle before I got onto the main meal, which this is the main meal. But the Whitley Nil, mate. If you want a good drink, Whitley Nil, rhubarb and ginger is a nice one. But currently on Gordon's again. And I do need to tidy my desk up.
Do you think Cata is going to eventually bring in looking for raid?
I hope so, yeah. But I hope they do it properly.
I think they're going to bring it in, and it's going to be exactly the same as it was the first time, and a complete shit show.
Will people dungeon grind to max level, and if so, will it be worth it to profession swap to gathering?
Well, that sounded like 2 completely different. Will they dungeon grind to max level? And if so, will it be? Go on, Jay. I've got my answer, but you wanted to jump in. so contrasting.
I would say no to the dungeon grinding bit. I don't think it's faster, and even if it is, you then screw yourself out of reputation heavily. So I would say no to that part, and then would it be worth it to professionals want to get? I don't know why you would do that.
So I'd say yes to dungeon grinding to level 84, and I'd say no unless you're not bothered about how quick you're going to level, but you're going to make more gold. Those would be my answers.
All right, that was all the questions.
Lovely.
I think we're out of here.
Well, thank you.
It's been emotional, as you would say, Scotty.
It's been very emotional. Thank you, Go, for a last-minute podcast, which was planned this morning. When exactly there weren't a lot of notice, I was like, "Go, can we do another Cata podcast? Because I really want to talk about Cata." And this genuinely happened. I messaged him while he was probably fucking half asleep, and was like, "Mate, I just want to talk about Cata. Can we do another Cata podcast?"
I was laying in bed.
Yeah, and
I was butt ass naked. Yeah.
Oh, that's so.
I was naked when Scott messaged me this morning.
Do you two ever wear clothes?
Not if I can help it.
If it's 4 a.m, no, I'm not wearing clothes.
All right.
If it's 10 a.m. in the morning, no, not if I can help it.
Well, we are out of here then. Jay, thank you for coming. Go, thank you for agreeing to do an extra one, which just takes the bitter taste out of my mouth for when we do Season Discovery on Wednesday. And everybody in chat, thank you for watching. Everybody watching back on VODs.
Next Cata show probably Saturday.
Saturday was
because
Paladin Part 2.
Yeah. You never know. Things might change. We might have one tomorrow. Who knows?
We can't do one
Scotty
tomorrow.
might get another hair up his ass and be like, "Oh, you got the NA raid."
Oh, hang on. Yeah, we might do one tomorrow. We'll see. Maybe one tomorrow.
What did I do?
Never know. We might be back tomorrow. But either way, guys, Cata's going to be hype. Fucking love you all. Love Go. Love Jay. Love everyone in chat. See you on the next one.
See y'all.
Laters.
I might just leave it here really awkwardly just for a minute because I don't want to go on the end screen because I'm listening to like really proper low budget porn music, and I know if I go to the ending screen, my music plays. When I say low budget porn music, it's like imagine like proper 70s porn, like oh yeah, like the washing machine's about to be fixed. It's really good.
Do the dishes.
Oh,
Make a sandwich.
Why is that made
Wash my clothes.
Why has that made me want to tidy up and have a